am, so we're gonna start. Making the Twitter post right now. I should have done this in hindsight.
You should have done it early. You were never ready. You were never ready. You thought you were ready, but you weren't.
Fighting a game at twitch.tv/Doylan. If anyone steals the VOD, we'll have that so that they know which channel to go to, But yeah, today's our topic is pretty much just combat in video games in general. Mainly focus on fighting games, which focus more on fighting. I don't know.
Fighting.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
Than other topics, but I am probably gonna be talk about traditional fighting games like Street Fighter and all that stuff. Probably platform fighters as well, Smash. We might be talking about other combat oriented type games too. MOBAs are kind of fighting games, right? Or there's just a lot of games.
Sense, yeah.
Kinda.
In a general sense, yeah.
Kinda.
But in the sense,
Yeah,
when you think of fighting games, no.
not in the traditional sense, but
Yeah, not traditional sense, yeah.
But I was just gonna focus on combat in general in games because I think that's a really interesting discussion to have. How do you balance out a game? There's a bunch of other things as well. I also did invite Snowfield and Comfy today, but they may or may not be able to work to get here due to work and or other reasons. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time altogether. I think it's gonna be a fun time altogether. I think. Also, why is Discord spamming? Okay, I'm gonna ignore that Discord. Yeah. But so first of all, what kind of fighting games do you guys normally play? If any.
Can I go first? Is that fine?
Oh.
No, you can't. I'm sorry.
The first, I don't really play fighting games that much anymore.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I used to play Killer Instinct a lot. One of my favorite fighting games ever.
I haven't actually played
Mortal
that
Kombat.
one. Mortal Kombat's a good one. Mortal Kombat is a game I played when I was 5.
Heck yeah. Back when they screen cap freaking back in the day, it's just
yeah.
it looked human. It's the pictures.
Man, old Mortal Kombat was a lot of fun. Do you guys remember the Shaolin Brothers or whatever? Shaolin Warriors? Shaolin Warriors. Yeah. That one was a really good one. That one was a really off, version of Mortal Kombat.
Yes, exactly.
I think was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a lot of fun with it. The combat
Shaolin Monks.
Shaolin Monks. Okay, yeah. But the combat was pretty fun. The way they had a more story, 2D linear kind of combat thing, I think was very interesting for the time. Because back then they were obviously under a lot more technology restraints than we have right now, and to go from the one of the big fighting games to a more how do I say it, dungeon diving type adventure mode, I guess, must have been quite a big leap for the development team, especially back then. I wouldn't be so surprised it was now, but yeah. Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, indeed, I have played around with the new hair thing, so it looks a bit different now. It also has physics.
Don't you have a mullet now?
Did any of you two play Shaolin Monks, or is it just me and Cindy right here? One of my cousins is actually a semi-competitive, what is it? Mortal Kombat player. I'm not gonna say where or what and all that, right? But apparently they've been doing tournaments and actually doing really well in their locals and all that, and I'm kind of proud of them. Fighting games are great. They're they're very high skill cap though, very difficult to play, kind of difficult to get into unless you have someone to show you the way and all that. I only realized that they were a Mortal Kombat player because they had Mortal Kombat merch when I met up with them. If you're into fighting games, people will know. If you're good at fighting games, you will be telling everyone about it. I've noticed. Fighting game players are probably one of the more dedicated groups of people who play games. Because it's like a PvP type thing. It's like if you're a League player, you're inviting all your friends to play League. If you're like, you know, if you're a competitive war game player, right, you're gonna be like asking all your friends to join you too, right? It's a very dedicated field where like casuals die. I have never met like a truly casual fighting game player that considers themselves a fighting game player, you know? It's either you're like, hey, yeah, I play Smash once every few months, right? Or it's like I play 50 hours of fighting games every day. You know, there's not much of an in-between, which I think is interesting. Claire, do you have any experience with fighting games?
I mean, I played Smash. I remember really enjoying Smash. Like when I was younger, especially when I got Wii. That was when I didn't play
Super
against
Smash Bros.
anyone
Wii.
in real life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like I have friends, but I don't have Smash anymore. So
it's one or the other, you know. You trade one for the other.
Yeah, you can't have both.
You can't have both. You can't have Super Smash Bros. And friends.
You should just invite them to your house and play the
It doesn't
Wii.
work like that.
When he was really young, there's like browser versions of
Yeah.
like
Yes.
fighters.
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe. And I used to play against my friends in those browser versions of King of Fighters.
Yeah.
And those were really fun. But like I would say I'm not a fighting game player,
Yeah.
honestly.
Have you played Art Fight though? Have you played Art Fight? I've seen some of my mutuals on Twitter play it.
No. No. It's a lot of commitment, I feel like, which I'm
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't do that. Yeah, no, I do not want to draw more than 1 hour per year. That is my limit. But yeah, no, it seems like a lot of commitment, just attacking and unattacking people in Art Fight. Like I don't know how artists do that, man. Like even like general art, like it amazes me how like, you know, you can like sit down for like 4 or 5 hours just like, you know, drawing like the outline, everything, getting everything perfect, you know, Claire? Like artists in general have a lot of dedication.
I mean, I think once you get used to it, it's just a natural thing to do, as with anything else, right? Like you sit down and you play video game for several hours. I think for someone who haven't played video game before, I don't think they do that either.
My max amount playing video games these days is 2 hours per day. If I go any more than that, I get really tired. My endurance has only dropped, man. I don't have energy for anything. It's college. It hurts, man. But yeah,
I felt that.
I did have a Wii Smash in like you know, when I was younger too. It was a really good version. I played with my siblings a lot and all that. But I didn't really have any friends, so yeah. If you play Wii Smash, like from our small population of 2 people, right? If you have Wii Smash and you play it, you don't have friends. That's just a constant, you know?
What you mean? I had all the homies playing Wii Smash.
Did you?
I did. Literally, I think it was like 2 years ago, all summer, all we did was go to my friend's house, we'd play Super Smash Bros. On the Wii every day.
Man, one of the nice things about the Switch, right, is that like one of your friends has like, you know, has a thing like they could just like give one of the Joy-Cons or whatever for a controller instead, you know. I really like how Joy-Cons are designed, just because it makes it more accessible for people, because like normally you're gonna be carrying 2 anyways, you know.
Yeah.
Cause like if I'm like, you know, if I'm playing like the DS, right, I'm not carrying another DS with me, you know. But like,
that's so true.
Yeah. But like if I'm playing, you know, you know, what is it, Breath of the Wild, I'm gonna have another controller if someone wants to play Smash. And like I have seen like a bunch of like kids bring like, you know, their Switches and everything to like school and everything, in like high school when I was in high school. That was fun, man. Like I really do appreciate what Nintendo does for like the handheld genre, because that's something that not many other companies are into right now, you know.
True.
Like the one other handheld game, like handheld console that's like even remotely relevant right now, right, is the you know, the Steam Deck, which isn't even out yet, you know. Like what other handheld do you have? Like what other handheld do you have?
I know this is an oldie, but it'd be the PS Vita.
The Vita is older than like probably like.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty old.
Yeah.
That's why it's like I don't know if I can think of any newer ones, but
dude, if you bring a PS Vita to school and ask someone to play like Smash or like another game with you, they're gonna just give you weird looks.
They're clowning you.
They clown you so
Your
hard.
social credit gone.
Dude. If you're playing a PlayStation device,
No more. You're at the bottom of the totem pole. No one's gonna touch you. No one's gonna interact with you.
You got 0 friends. Now you have negative friends.
Not even the teachers. They're not gonna notice you at all.
Yeah, if you're bringing a PS Vita to school, right? Like either you bring like a full-on PS2, like you just load the entire PS2 to school, right? Or you bring like a modern PlayStation 5 or whatever. Don't bring a PS Vita, that's even less cool.
If you bring a PS5, you're gonna jump. I'm sorry. You're gonna.
They'll bring you to the back alley.
They're gonna get it one way or another.
Man.
You're not leaving school with your PS5.
Strangely enough, I feel like the Nintendo, company kind of owns a lot of fighting games because like Xbox doesn't really do fighting games as often as Nintendo, right? They don't have and like PlayStation doesn't have any either, unless you're gonna be playing like what is it? Like Cartoon Network. Shonen Jump. Yeah.
Shonen.
I don't know. That one was cool, but I didn't have a PS2 to play it without.
Yeah.
PS. I don't even know what the fuck it came on PS4.
The last
I didn't have one to play it,
any other like game consoles were relevant in the fighting game sphere was when in the PS2 with the Mortal Kombat games, but after that, Nintendo kind of owns things. Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo's like, you're mine.
This is my job now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is mine. Thank you. Have a good day.
Starly, do you have any experience with fighting games?
The only relevant one I can think of is Super Smash Bros. That's like
everyone plays that.
I played. Yeah.
Moral,
I played the one for the Wii. I played the one for the 3DS. It was ass. Never buy a game for the 3DS. I played the Wii U one. That was fun, but I didn't own a Wii U.
The Wii U one seems interesting. The Wii U one. It was
nice. It was alright.
Yeah.
Oh, and then of course the new one, Smash Bros. Ultimate, the best one ever.
Yeah. Everyone has that one. Like if you have if you have a Switch, you have it.
Nah.
Everyone has Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I don't.
Well, if you own a Nintendo Switch, that's what I thought more.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know the best fighting game. I just remembered that.
What is it?
Minecraft PvP.
Oh, Minecraft PvP surprised me.
That's not real. Get out of here. That's not real. Get out of here.
Dude. Minecraft PvP is crazy
Minecraft
complicated.
Is just every other video game category.
Dude, if you go on like an actual Minecraft server, like Hypixel or something with like actual kits and everything, it's actually a lot of fun PvPing. I suck at it though.
It is so fun. Oh my.
Oh, dude. I remember when Hypixel made like Warlords or whatever, where like they had like full on like spells and skills and like all that stuff for like
I do not remember that. I'm sorry.
That was insanely good for Minecraft because they had like full on like a 3D modeling, so they had like unique models and everything. It was interesting.
That's cool.
But yeah.
It's just so fucking creative.
Moral, what kind of fighting games do you play?
I mean, I haven't really played any like recently, but in terms of like back in the day, like I remember like way back, like when I had like the N64, like as a kid, I would play like the original Smash.
Oh hell
what?
Yeah!
You call me a boomer? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no. The N64 was fun. I remember the GameCube. Yeah, N64, GameCube.
I still have my GameCube. Yeah, I still have it.
My GameCube's probably in like the storage somewhere, and I know where my PS2
I
is,
have
but it's like
somewhere. I don't have it plugged in anymore.
Yeah.
Same thing with the PS2. Like
those are some good times, man. The PS2 was top tier.
I always have my PS2 strapped on me.
PS2 is a top tier game console. But yeah, no,
there's like others. Like I have played like Mortal Kombat, like 1, 2, and 3. Like, yeah, like on Steam, there's like the Mortal Kombat collection.
Mortal Kombat's really good. The new
on
games
Tekken
are
1,
really
yeah,
interesting,
Tekken
but I haven't
3.
gotten into them. Um,
Oh,
the new
I
games
just
look so
realized.
good. They look so
Yeah, I
Oh my
good.
haven't
God.
played like the new ones. Let's play like the classic one.
The
Yeah,
fatalities, man, jeez.
I'm not
Oh
really.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
man.
I've been
It's
looking to
like
like the
a
lore
what?
and everything, right? I've been looking to like the lore and
Yellow.
everything of like the new games, and like I'm not like super feeling it because they had like a reboot, and then like that reboot's like a different timeline now, and that timeline like
Mhm.
collides with like the other time. It's just gotten too complicated, you know? Like,
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to the lore, honestly.
eh,
Yeah, bro,
But,
I'm
you
just
know,
here to
this is a
fight.
fighting game I miss playing though. This
the
is a
lore
fighting
is
game I
like
miss
half
playing
of the
it.
Mortal Kombat experience. Like you either play Mortal Kombat for
Uh-huh.
like the fatalities, or you play it for the lore. There's like the lore is
There's
half
no
the
in
appeal.
between.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
You can't like both.
Yeah,
You can't like
You
both.
can't enjoy it for
Yeah,
the
man.
game, man.
If you
Because,
like both,
like-
you're lying.
Because like
If you
Mortal
like both,
Kombat out of like
someone's
all the
lying
fighting
here.
games, right? Mortal Kombat out of all the fighting games has probably the best lore out of them, or at least the best story mode, you know? Because like, are you gonna be playing
There's been
Street
so
Fighter
much.
for the lore? Probably not. Or you might. There's some decent lore, but like
Really?
Smash, there's like
No,
no
Yeah,
lore.
that's-
Smash.
You know,
Wait.
Smash has blue. I don't know what you're
What
talking
about-
That's
about.
just lore. That's
Smash
it's,
has
it's,
blue. You
not,
can't beat.
it's not
it.
deep.
Lore, yeah.
It's not deep, but
It's not
there
deep,
is.
but it's got lore. Are you?
Yeah,
sweep
but
that
like,
under the
but
rug.
like,
No,
can you
yeah.
compare it with like, can you compare it with Mortal Kombat? Probably
Yeah, I
not.
could if I really
Mortal
wanted to.
Kombat? Did I hear that right? Okay.
If I really
Actual
wanted
You
Mortal
can't.
Kombat.
Yeah,
Am I
you
fighting?
know what?
Am I the protagonist in that?
No, but seriously, like, yeah, no, it's just simple.
Oh,
It's
bro.
not.
Yeah,
It's not like
Yeah,
Mortal
Android.
Kombat level where Mortal Kombat is like each character. Oh my gosh, they go into it.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Mortal Kombat goes insane with like all like the realms and everything, you know? Like all like the
Forget.
I
What's
just
this?
realized I played another fighting game. I don't know if y'all played this. It's like
Oh.
a Dragon Ball Z fighting game on the
Oh.
PS2.
Oh no, I haven't. I haven't. played that.
yeah, I
Oh
played that one.
no, not that one.
This guy what?
That one.
I
I
played
think
that
it's
one.
called I don't even want to butcher this name. I'm not even gonna say it. I don't fuck it up. So.
What is it called? What is it?
Type it in the Twitch chat. Type it.
I'll type it in Twitch, man. I'll do that.
Man,
I'm gonna fuck
Mortal
this up.
Kombat.
I don't even trust, bro. I take Japanese. I don't even trust myself to read.
I mean,
you
back
think
when I actually had
Japanese,
better powers,
weeb?
I remember I think
go
a
into the
little bit
weeb
of,
corner. Go into the weeb
Mortal
corner.
Kombat.
Go into the weeb corner.
I
The
There we go.
weeb corner?
Yeah, weeb corner.
Weeb corner.
Weeb corner.
Weeb corner.
Nah.
You lost your chair rights. No more chair rights for you.
Budokai,
Tenkaichi.
I'm on my way to be
Tenkaichi?
bilingual.
Tenkaichi
Bitch.
Tenkaichi? What?
Close enough. Yeah,
Yeah. Let's go.
Close enough.
yeah, close enough.
Close enough.
But yeah, no, that was a really good one. I'm pretty sure there's no wait, they discontinued the series, I think, recently. Man. But like it did have like a
Man.
few recent-ish installments, but like I don't think it does have any like current installments anymore, sadly.
no.
I think they had like 4, 5 games of the series, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or no. I think it might have been 3, and people are still waiting for 4. The Dragon Ball fighting games are actually really good. Kind of what you expect from them, but yeah.
They're fun. I used to, me and my little brother, when we play it, we make our own little lore with the characters.
Wait, do you guys not watch Dragon Ball?
No, we did. It's just my little brother didn't watch Dragon Ball. That's the thing. I
Man.
didn't want to like explain it to him, so we just made up lore. As we went.
Xenoverse and Fighter Z
Made
are
up lore,
both
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, they were like our OCs.
So you guys know Dragon Ball Fighter Z, right? Or Fighter Z or whatever? That one was made by the same people who made what is it, Guilty Gear, I think, right? Let me check it. Yeah, it's by Arc System Works, right? And this might be a bit more relevant to Claire, but like Claire, have you seen like how they like mix 2D and 3D and all that in like in Arc System Works, like their Guilty Gear games and all that? Because I think
I think so. I think I've seen a video that breaks down how to make. I don't remember which company it is, but I have to assume that this is the one. But
yeah.
There's a video of the developers at Game Developers Conference where they talk about how they made their game look 2D.
Yeah, that's
but
them.
use
That's
3D
them.
Instead, that was really inspiring. That was really good. I think there's more of those like going around nowadays.
They're pretty much like the main dudes though who do this kind of stuff because it takes so much work. Because like they have to like do like they have to like do like special shading and everything to make it look 2D. They have to like lower the frame rate, like add imperfections into the thing, because like if they use like a 3D model that's always on point, it will look very 3D. But they like do stretching and like all that kind of stuff, and it's really really cool. Like they have like they have like 3D smear frames, like how like when like someone swings an object, there's always like the things like following them, right? Like the trail or whatever, or like the squish, I guess I would describe it as. For like their Artworks games, right? For example, if the main character, right, Sin, is like doing his slash with his like sword thingy-majig, right, giant lighter, right, it will have like a smear frame, which is like just the weapon stretched and like like contorted, right, so it looks like a 2D thing, right? But if like let's say you get a kill or whatever, it like turns it around and you can see it from like all like three directions, or not three directions but like 3 dimensions, right, which I think is really interesting. The emulation of 2D mediums within a 3D medium I think is crazy interesting, because like that gives you a lot of possibilities on what you can do as well as limitations, because like if let's say Claire is like drawing something that can literally be anything that they can like draw, right Claire, but like if you're in a 3D medium, that might be a bit harder to like animate and do all that other stuff, which really does attest to like how good they are at what they do, because people will believe it's a 2D fighting game until you start rotating the camera in 3D, and that's when it like starts blowing people's minds. I think having a unique art style really does help a lot of fighting games, or at least some kind of unique gimmick, because like one of the very very like important things for Arc System Works thing is like they're very 2D aesthetic for their 3D games. Which I am honestly still impressed by, because it's very faithful to their earlier games. Like I have like the second latest Guilty Gear, right? And like you can see like the direct comparisons from their like old models and earlier games and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I have like one of the Guilty Gear games, but I like never even touched it at all.
Sad.
Like, for some reason.
Go play it.
I try to remember which one it is. I'm just trying to find it.
Yeah,
in
it's probably because your bandwidth can't download it all.
Damn, holy shit.
The Guilty Gears, like XRD Revelation.
Oh, that one's a really good one. Yeah, that's the second latest one. It looks really really good. As an artist, though, I would highly suggest looking at like the latest game, Claire, because it looks so good. Yeah, let me send you the trailer or whatever. Some of my friends actually have it, and it looks really nice. It's just outside of my budget. It's just completely outside of my budget.
You know what's like a fighting game I want to get back into?
What?
Skullgirls.
Oh, Skullgirls is really fun. Skullgirls is really fun.
Remember we talked about like a few months ago on a podcast that we were gonna get like a Skullgirls lobby going or something.
Man, Skullgirls has a really nice aesthetic. It's just kind of like your traditional 2D fighting game, but like they do stylize their characters a lot, right? Like their designs are very like out there, right? It's not like your normal. Yeah, they go really hard on their designs. Like none of the characters.
BGM is pretty dope too. Like
yeah, very. I think the BGM is one of the main things for them, because they have the very. How would you describe the aesthetic? Yeah, jazzy aesthetic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of their characters can literally play instruments, but. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Bang, right?
Indeed. I've always wanted to get good at like playing his instruments, but
Big Bang, yeah.
I'm lazy, man. I'm lazy.
I would mainly play Squeakly though.
Yeah. But Claire, if you check out that video I sent in general right there, it looks so 2D. It looks like top tier, It looks top tier.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like I really respect how well they emulate the anime aesthetic for like the fighting scenes in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is very well done.
Yeah, and like even like the this is like of course like the opening movie, but like if you go into like the actual combat scenes, all right, like let me try finding like Guilty Gear Strive, like just a normal fight. It looks completely 2D until like a 2D fighter until things change. Let me just yeah, just like skip like halfway through. Like I would believe that's a 2D fighter if I wasn't like told beforehand, I think that's also another interesting thing. A lot of like current anime and like cartoons, everything are starting to use a lot more 3D in their like drawings. Often as like a reference, or like sometimes they just completely go 3D, and like good CGI you will not think is CGI. That's what I've noticed, right? Because like the CGI which you go, hey, that's CGI right there, right? The CGI where you just point it out, that's when it's not done well. When it's done well, you do not realize the CGI.
I feel like there's times where I'm trying to think, because I used to watch anime, not knowing they use CGI at all. Yeah. Like I always thought they was hand drawn. Yeah. Until I think one day I was watching with a friend, they pointed it out. I was like, what the fuck? No way, what is this CGI? What? Yeah. But then after that point, I could tell what's CGI and what's not drawn.
Yeah. Sometimes if you're like really looking out for it, you can like see it, but like oftentimes like good CGI just doesn't scream that, because like people associate bad models, weird reflections, like over polishing to be with CGI. But sometimes it does work, and sometimes you do want like the very CGI aesthetic, right? Like for example, if you're like you have like a show about like virtual reality, or like a techno type thing, right? Then you might want some CGI looking things. I have seen that CGI has gotten a lot better in like modern anime though, which is really great to see. Yep.
Which is also good because sometimes like shit is like too detailed to be just drawn.
Yeah.
So they gotta slap some CGI on that. Which is nice.
Yeah. Okay. What else?
There's still a bit of distance between the 3D, 2D. Like
there is distance, but it's like really well done, right?
Yeah, it's well done. Yeah, for sure. But looking at GDS, I can still tell like, yeah, that's 3D.
Yeah.
As hard as it tries.
Yeah, of course. There's definitely gonna still be some problems emulating it completely. Let me see if like the earlier one, XRD, is a bit better. Because I'm not sure if like they did have like a big change right there. But yeah, no, I do respect like the attempt at like trying to get like the real art. No wait, XRD I think actually does have the 2D aesthetic a lot more down at some points. Huh. Or is this XRD? Yeah, this is XRD. Check this out. I feel like this one is a bit less polished looking, but that might actually go to its benefit at some point. But yeah, fighting games have gone a long way from what they used to be. Remember when they used to just be the one character Street Fighter? It's the original Street Fighter used to only be like two identical characters fighting each other, or like near identical, and like that blows my mind because I've been like looking at like documentaries at like how it developed and all that, and like imagine playing a fighting game where you only have one character option. That
I feel like this was early games.
Yeah, and then you look at like Smash, right? Like you look at like modern Smash where everyone is here.
Yeah, everyone is here. You got 30 different people.
Yeah. More than 30 by now. Way more than 30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like I feel like it might have been easier to. What?
3D?
Yeah, no, that's 2D. I mean 3D. That's 3D. Yeah. Just wait until like some hit frames and then it will pan the camera. It's insanely impressive, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think they really do get the aesthetic really well in XRD.
Fuck, did I mess this up? Hold on. Don't click that link, guys.
Oh no, he's sending phishing links. No, Starly banned from Discord.
He got hacked.
Guys, watch out.
Yeah.
You go into the shadow realm.
I think art
Alright,
style
there we
really
go.
does matter a lot for fighting games, though. Because depending on how the art style looks, some things might be a bit harder to tell. If the art style is really bad for a fighting game, sometimes you won't be able to tell what's happening, you know? Because like fighting games are so precise, like just frame precise, right? And at the same time, sometimes that might be a thing which they try. An interesting thing for some trick characters, right, is they'll have attacks which are like 50-50s, is like what people call them a lot of time, where like they have like the same startup animation, right? So like maybe like the character will be like lifting up like one hand, right? And it might go to like, you know, a fireball, or it might go to them like, you know, slashing with their sword or something similar, or like it might be like, you know, them going for an uppercut, or it can be like transition to something else, you know. Sometimes, oh, thank you for the posture check. Sometimes like having
You're
that
welcome.
ambiguity is very useful for some characters, and like because of the nature of fighting games and how competitive they are, like even the most minute difference in like how a character plays or how a character is animated might change how it is like treated completely, right? Because like for fighting games, right, if let's say your attack is 5 frames slower, right, that's less than like half of a second, right? That's like a super short time, but if your attack is 5 frames slower, your attack's unusable, you know? The art style also goes a lot to like how speedy things feel as well, right? Because like sometimes like even with like the same frame data, right, like depending on how you draw the character moving and like how the character goes through the move, sometimes it might feel like faster paced gameplay just because of how influential the movements and everything else are. And yeah, man, that really does make some VR fighting games difficult though, because there's no frame data. But
I
yeah,
never really looked into it though. The VR fighting games, never heard of that.
yeah, Claire, have you looked like more through like the video? Because you can see where they start panning the camera when like the camera shifts sometimes, and you can really tell that's 3D. Like, but
Yeah,
it's really
I
interesting,
saw
right?
that. I saw that. And I was really impressed. I was like, I would not being able to tell that this was 3D
Yeah.
until that point, I think.
I try to remember like what other game does that. I think Soul Calibur does that too, right? Like the rotating, like when you're moving around.
As well, dang,
It
yeah.
depends on the Soul Calibur you're
It's
playing
like-
as, but like it's mainly Artworks' thing, but like is Soul Calibur by Artwork? No, Soul Calibur by Artworks, right? I'm pretty sure they're by Artworks, or that stops sounding like a name, a word after a while.
And then Tekken as well, right?
No, they're by they're by Namco. What?
No,
Or-
I'm talking about like when you're moving around, like it's not like just 2D, like you're moving like side to side, like the map like
Oh yeah,
rotates. That's what I
those
meant.
are a completely different kind of fighting game. We're talking about like the art style here, but there are
gotcha.
there are 3D fighters, like 3D circular arena fighters. Soul Calibur does have that. I believe Guilty Gear XRD is a 2D fighter. 2D meaning like it's like dimension left and right and like up and down, you know. But they do have 3D models. Terminology in fighting games is weird. And then there's some other fighting games where like for example where it's more linear. Like you guys remember the Pokemon fighting game, right? Where you were constantly locked onto like the opponent. Yeah, Pokken, right? That one was that one was like a 3D fighter, 3D circular arena fighter, right? Where you're constantly locked onto your opponent. Meanwhile, there's other fighting games where you're not locked on at all, right? For example, do I have any examples of that?
I'm trying to think of ones like I haven't even like mentioned.
Yeah, for example, I know there's like I know Dark Souls kind of works as a fighter sometimes, but like it pulls apart across, or you're not completely locked on your opponent. I mean, Dark Souls does have fighting. But even in like Dark Souls, right, when like someone invades your world, your frame data is so important. If your weapon is slower and you don't account for that, you're dead. Learning to use your moves and everything is very important in fighting games, especially with slower characters, because the balancing in a fighting game is actually really interesting, right? Faster characters normally do less damage, or like you know, projectile characters normally do like less damage or are worse at close range. There's a bunch of balancing things. Like for example, if you're a very slow grappler type character who like wants to like grab your opponent, you normally only need to grab people twice or so to win, right? Like your win condition is you hit 2 hits, right? But like other characters, you might have to like do like 8 combos on them before they die, right? And it's like all a really weird balancing act that I would imagine is hell on earth to try and do. Yeah. Because like a lot of fighting games, like even like in the modern day, they don't have like 50 billion, you know, characters, right? Like Smash does, right? But Smash doesn't really treat itself as a traditional competitive fighting game, right? It's a casual party game. Like I believe the creators have said that multiple times, right? The intention isn't to have like perfect balance or like close to perfect balance. The intention is always to be
more fun.
Yeah, more fun than anything else. So Smash doesn't really have the problem of like needing to balance characters precisely, right? Because like, yeah, there's gonna be OP characters. 99% of the time they're gonna be the DLC too, you know? But like the point stands
not
that
anymore, right? Because
the DLC characters are
Lost
still...
Fighters out.
What?
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 Isn't that the point? Smash?
Yeah.
Wait,
Like,
what was the topic?
Isn't that what the Lost Fighter is? There's no more character added to Smash Ultimate.
oh yeah, they don't have new characters anymore.
Yeah.
But like,
so
I mean,
no
like
more
the
DLC.
yeah, I mean, like the current DLC fighters are like really strong. You know, like Joker and everything else. They have like completely new move sets and everything else. Yeah, unlike, you know, like serious fighting games, I would imagine it's a lot easier to balance for something you don't expect to have competitive stuff for, you know? Funny enough, Nintendo actually has a stance against fighting games from what I've seen. Like they don't really support the competitive scene like at all, which I feel is kind of sad. Yeah.
Well, it's because the Smash community
doesn't take
really
showers.
Toxic. I mean, yeah, that too. There's a lot of there's too much drama for Nintendo to get up in there and be involved at this point.
I mean, you're not wrong,
man.
So I think it's best for them just to stay away.
Yeah. Fighting games are an interesting genre. They bring the most sweaty people possible in multiple ways.
Yeah, you get like people who like memorize like entire movesets and everything. It's like, damn.
Oh yeah, no, I've done that. I've done that.
Like I remember like, I was in a public Skullgirls lobby. There's like someone, I think their name was like Eliza Main or something. I don't know. And then, like,
the first time I was in a public Skullgirl lobby, right? I got touched once. They touched death in me. I died. And then I just logged off.
So I can't I have my
phone. Like crumbled for days, man. Like what? I can't do anything.
Man, having to like design a fighting game like with like frame data is so damn complicated, especially if it's like a 2D fighting game. Because like if you want to make attack slightly faster, right, you need to like, you know, or slightly slower, you need to either draw an entirely new frame or you need to like decide where to put in like your extra like frame or whatever. Because like a frame matters in fighting game. A frame really does matter. And then like you add on like where like, you know, the hitboxes are per frame and like where all that moves. I don't want to make a fighting game. It is too much work for me.
So much work. You make it something.
Too much work. Yeah.
Way easier.
Yeah, and then there's like the netcode. You know how like Nintendo has horribly bad netcode? Netcode is such a hard issue to get right? Because like the thing is like you know why all the Japanese games have bad netcode? Do you know why? Do you know why, Starly?
I don't think so.
It's because Japan actually has good internet. Like they have fast internet everywhere.
That makes so much sense.
because like let's say you're playing at like the southmost corner of Japan, right? And like your opponent's in the northwards component, like, you know, place of Japan, right?
Yeah.
They're probably 2 states over. That's a distance. Like they're not gonna have that bad ping, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why they can pull off peer-to-peer, and like their internet infrastructure is also way more consistent and like in general like faster than ours. So like
yeah.
So like Japanese creators at this point don't really need to care about netcode as much as like American creators do, because now like in America or like, you know, in like non Japanese areas, a lot of time you need to like do rollback and a bunch of other things, which are like complete headaches to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, has anyone actually? Does anyone actually know what the definition of rollback is? Because I can like do a brief explanation.
Do it for the viewers.
My rollback isn't that like basically it's like you return the game back to like a certain state,
Yeah.
like depending on like how far back you go.
Yeah, they pretty much look ahead and they like guess what your next actions are gonna be based on your past actions, and then they like do that like client side for both players, and then like if it's different, they roll it back and all that stuff, and that accounts for ping and everything else. It is a pain in the ass.
Never mind.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, or a
I
rollback.
think like rolling back a game, not like an actual like fighting match. That's something different.
For fighting game mechanisms are so complicated. Funny enough, right? If you're playing competitively, a lot of the competitive players memorize exactly how many frames are for each action, like which thing beats what thing, like the combinations, like the exact distancing, which things lead into another one. It's insane how sweaty people can be.
That's too much work. It's too much work.
They probably spent more time staring at like the pixels than the actual artists themselves.
The actual like characters and shit.
I mean, yeah. But like, one of the most janky things, especially for 3D fighters, right, is when the hitboxes don't match up with like the actual model themselves. So you're getting hit by like, you know, object like 50 miles away from your character.
Oh yeah, no, that's the.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Some fighting games have like, you know, perfectly matched models. Meanwhile, other fighting games have like, you know, unmatched models. It's like argument between like the two, because like on one side, like the square hitboxes or like the cube hitboxes that Smash has, right? Or at least the latest Smash. Like sometimes you have very janky situations, right? But they help a lot with like hit detection and everything else, right? A problem with like having too thin of a hitbox, right? At least shape-wise, it's like if your weapon is too thin, sometimes you'll like swing too fast, and then your opponent will just like be able to walk through it. That's something I've noticed in VR fighting games, actually, right? Because you guys know how I stab people in VR, right? It's kind of running me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am semi-competitive in it, so you know, yeah. But
you're one of the sweaty players, huh? Right.
I mean, kind of literally.
That doesn't
because
surprise me at all, man.
I mean, kind of literally because.
if you die in the game, you die for real.
And funny enough, if you like fall in game, you do have a chance of breaking your neck. So please don't fall while you're playing a VR game.
Oh yeah, please don't. Play VR.
Dude, I've had people who are playing the game, right? They punch something, they break their screens, or they break their controllers, or sometimes they even like injure
or
themselves.
hit something.
Yeah, they'll hit something. You're like, bro,
Anything.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Make sure you're in like an open space.
Yeah, exactly.
No glass around or anything.
Nothing.
Yeah, no, VR fighting games are very difficult to practice in because you
like
actually sweat. Like you know, like how people are sweating because of stress.
Actually, you're sweaty and you're actually sweating.
That's my workout for the day. Fuck.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's more extreme than we think.
Yeah, no, it's so extreme. Dude, like 2 days ago, and yesterday, right? I spent like an hour straight just like dueling people in VR, like full on, like, you know, sprinting, like, you know, like backstepping, like, you know, small like walking and all that, and like just like adjusting my position, and it was fun. It's very fun.
All the combos.
Funny
You're
enough,
literally kicking everybody's butt in the lobby. Like, hey, who's next? Who's next? Come on.
No. I was getting my ass beat.
It was like, bro, time out. I wasn't ready.
Oh, no. Some people are so good at the game, right? Some people are so good at the game, right? That like after 300 hours, I still can't like touch them if they're serious. Like I'm not even joking about that. Some people are so good at like predicting your movements and like knowing exactly where to position themselves that they can like dodge and like, you know, attack. So 2 days ago, right? A newbie joined, right, in the game, right, and like pretty much stabbing, punching, all those are like natural human actions, right? Like they would have some experience from like IRL, right? the top number one player in Swords of Gura, right, was completely drunk. Not gonna name who, but he was completely drunk. He was barely able to stand, right? Like he was falling over, all that stuff, right? And I might have told him to try fighting the newbie and see how it goes. He beat them badly. Even when he could barely stand. He was literally he literally fell over 3 times because he was so drunk. It was great.
That's the drunk player. Hit him with drunken fist.
Dude. Like sometimes in some of these fighting games, right? It becomes so motor memory that no matter how sleepy or drunk you are, right? You'll still be able to like pull off the movements, right? Like I remember when I was playing Guilty Gear XRD, right? I remember when I was playing Guilty Gear XRD, right? It was so I spent like an hour trying to memorize this pattern so I could like do it like rote, you know, to like do the combo rote and like the skill and all that, right? Those are fun times. Sometimes there's skills in fighting games that you never forget, you know. And then my controller broke. Not broke, but like I lost a part for it, and that kind of changed the complete play style for it. But you know, yeah. Yeah. No. What kind of characters do you guys normally play in fighting games if you've ever played one? Like, how would you describe your play style?
Speedy character.
I don't know. Like, I try to play them like conservatively, and then like whenever I see like an open opportunity, I just take the attack.
Ah, yes, very defensive characters with like, you know, with openers.
I don't try to play too aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I go 100% aggression. Like if
if I'm getting hit, that's fine as long as I'm hitting back.
Dude, so I've been playing like so many roguelikes, right? Like where if you die, you like restart from the beginning of the game, right? If I find an item which doubles my damage but doubles the damage I take too, I'll take it 100% of the time.
So that's me. That's my time.
Dude. In this roguelike called Wizard of Legend a few days ago, right? I swear to you, I had 8 times damage taken for every attack I take.
Oh my god.
It was so bad. Yeah, and then I go 100% glass cannon. If I don't have speed in a fighting game, I do not play it. Like I can't play slow characters. Slow characters are.
No, yeah, no, I can't do the slow character.
I know some people enjoy playing grapplers, right? Like, you know, just characters who like grab and then like do all that stuff and are like super slow and like you know.
Yeah.
I can't do that, man. Like I don't find that fun.
I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather just hit you and be able to speed off real quick.
Hit him.
Funny enough, in VR, I play a very defensive play style, or not defensive, but a very offensive defensive character, or not character, but my fighting style, you know.
Yeah.
Because I use 2 swords just because one of them I can use to block and the other one I can use to attack. And the reason I use them, right, is because I'm ambidextrous, right? So I can like, you know, use either one as efficiently to attack and defend. So like my entire playstyle just comes down to countering the person or trying to counter them, and then they get around my guard after a few tries and then they beat my ass.
It's all over.
Then it's over. Then I'm done.
I quit.
Yeah, no, I have a few set patterns that once you realize the pattern, you can pretty much just expect it. Like my rival and like best friend in Swords of Gura, right, which is like the VR game, right? He and me are so good at sync up each other's attacks that we can parry each other like 8 times in a row just off of like memory and knowing what the other person's about to do. It happened like 2 days ago, like actually. Fighting game characters sometimes you really fall into like a rhythm for playing them, you know. Because like some characters just have a pattern that you always play. Like if you're a Nest main, I know what you're about to do. You know what?
We all know what you're about to do.
Yeah. If you're a Kirby main, I know what you're about to do.
Yeah, I already know what the Machampions are gonna do. You know?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I know Machampions what they're gonna do. They're gonna leave me off lane and just leave me to fend for my fucking self.
That hurts any person.
Yeah, 2 weeks since I last played.
I can't win. I can't win. I can't win.
If one of our special guests arrives today before the thing ends, right, we're probably gonna like extend it slightly if you guys don't mind, so that way they can like say stuff. Cause yeah. But please try.
Yeah, I'll probably just leave it
Please try.
in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know why, but my playstyle is always either super like precise and slow and like methodical, or perfect glass cannon. There's no in between, or if there is an in between, I'm doing both.
Yeah, glass cannons though.
Glass cannons hit. They go hard.
I mean, that's kind of their thing.
Yeah, they make one fatal mistake.
Rushdown is like the formal term for one of the glass cannon builds, where like your plan is to rush down and get really close, but then at the same time there's like a bunch of other things that counter it. Like there's a bunch of like official terms for how fighting game character. Hey.
Hi. Hello.
We're talking about fighting games.
Hey, hola, el chapurrado.
Hey, hola, ¿qué onda, güey?
Oh no, the Spanish are revolting.
Bien.
The Spanish are revolting. No.
I can't understand.
What kind of
Inquisition is here.
Hi, hey,
Yeah.
howdy.
We just had a giant ass.
Mexican hot chocolate.
We had a giant conversation about like game design for like like graphics already, right? We were like talking about Guilty Gear and how it has like the 2D aesthetic and how interesting that was, right? We if you have anything to say about any of these topics, you can like chime in about it for a bit. But we were also talking about like how there's like multiple types of fighting games. Like there's like the 2D games, right? Where like even if Guilty Gear has like 3D models, it's like the 2D left and right thing, right? There's like the 3D arena fighters, or like the ones where you like have the circle. I don't really like those.
Right.
I don't really like those at all.
You hate circles.
Yeah, no, I hate circles. If you are a circle, you're bad. But then there's also like there's like the more free moving fighting games, which I think are pretty interesting, although they're very hectic and not very controlled. What kind of fighting games do you normally play, Comfy?
Actually, way back when Smash 4 was a thing, I used to play that very competitively. I went to tournaments for it.
Isn't Smash 4 like the Smash game that no one remembers because like every other game has like a more fancy title than it?
Oh, most definitely. When you have to spell your Smash or your game title like that, of course it's going to be forgettable. But it's also where I started playing fighting games.
Yeah.
I actually really liked Smash 4 for what it was, but over time, Smash Ultimate came out. I didn't really get into that, and as of recently, I started playing a lot more of the regular classic 2D fighters because I started off with Guilty Gear.
Yeah. I think one of the problems with Smash Ultimate, right, is that it doesn't really take itself seriously as a fighting game, right? Because like it's been stated multiple times by the creators that it's more of a party game than anything else, which I think might be one of the reasons we turned you off, right?
Not too much, because of course there's always going to be ways to circumvent that. But it was just, I don't know.
I feel like needing ways to circumvent something is like a problem within the game itself, because like if you want to play competitively or fairly, I guess, right, and you need to jump through like 50 hoops and like set 50 like home rules, I think that's a problem with the game itself for a competitive format,
Oh yeah.
For example, Swords of Gura, which is like the 3D game I play, right? Like the VR one. It for dueling or like competitive sparring and everything, the community has a bunch of rules, right? But I feel like that's also a problem with like the game itself because it doesn't cater enough for the competitive crowd. However, the casual crowd is obviously gonna be like the main target of most games. I think Smash has really made a big place in like the fighting game community. Because like I think it's probably the most mainstream or like not Smash, but Ultimate is probably the most mainstream fighting game I've ever seen, Yeah, which I really respect, but at the same time the balance is a bit questionable at times, which is but I do enjoy casual games like that. But if I was gonna go for a platform fighter like Smash, instead I would probably play Rivals of Aether instead, which you might want to look into.
Yes, I've actually played a little bit of Rivals.
It's really good.
Super duper fun.
The combat's super tight. It's very competitive focused. Have you played the workshop stuff?
Ooh, no, I have not.
Oh, the workshop is so much fun because you can find a character on the workshop. You click a button, right, and then it's instantly in your game. It's just a character that you like to install mods in it. It's so good, and that's probably like one of the main draws as well. But I feel like I do prefer more tight games, right? Where like the hitboxes aren't super janky. I prefer like more competitive games in general. Not because I'm a competitive player, right? Like sure I would love to be, but I don't have enough dedication. But I like the ability to have the high skill ceiling, which is something I really appreciate from more classical games. Because like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, they have such a high skill cap. I think that's probably one of the things a lot of fighting game players appreciate. And the problem is like when like the modern Street Fighters, right? They kind of dumb things down so anyone can do stuff, right? But at the same time, that alienates the experienced players. Like you remember the block combo for Chun-Li's kick thing, which was like legendary back in the day, like in like the older.
The parry in Street Fighter 3.
Yeah, in like modern Street Fighters is completely downgraded because everyone can do it. It looks the same exact thing, right? But like the amount of skill it takes is comparatively zero,
Right.
Which I feel is a sad trend to see. However, also somewhat of a welcome one because more people are going to be playing those games. I feel like it's probably not like great for Street Fighter because like if you're playing Street Fighter, you've already fallen into the rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah, Street Fighter is for sweats of the sweats of the sweats, or tryhards, either one. What fighting games like do you play currently, Comfy?
Right now, still Guilty Gear. I actually bought Melty Blood Lumina.
We were actually talking about Guilty Gear earlier as the main topic for like the design and everything, right? Because they have like the 2D, the 3D looking, or not the 2D looking 3D style in like XRD, right? Which is really technically impressive.
Super well done.
I think it's also super impressive how like they do all their models and everything, because they warp the shapes and everything instead of like adhering to the normal 3D 100% accurate thing. I really do appreciate how they can like warp all their models and their characters when they're doing like special moves, or like even when like when Sin like swings his sword, how that like the how do I say it, the sword like drags behind it with like the trail,
the smear.
Yeah. And then have you ever had one of those moments where you like hit and then you kill and then like it like rotates the camera but the smear is still there, so you see the smear in 3D? That always really looks sick.
It's super impressive how they do their models in that, because it's not just the characters, it's also anything around, like you mentioned, the smear. But if there's like how May has Totsugeki, Mr. Dolphin, you can see the fucking
Totsugeki.
Yeah, you gotta love it. God, I'm so happy Nagoriyuki got that 6P buff. But it's just like we've seen everything, not just the models themselves, but the objects that they can summon is also in 3D. Oh,
yeah,
it's rad.
What?
I'm getting my ass beat, but like that's rad.
Oh, dude, I've had so many of those moments in some fighting games. Like, how Goro, right? I keep going back to it because it's like my main fighting game right now, right? But like, the thing about that game, right, is there's no like preset animations. You can move as fast as you want, as fast as you can in reality, at least, right? And in as many ways as you can in reality. But like the weirdest thing, right, is like if you're a good player, like a good player can kick anyone's ass. Like I've already told this story before in here, right? But you remember yesterday when you were watching the beta test, right? And there were like some of like the players like standing at the side. One of them, right? One of them was the top player, right? And the day before he was completely drunk, right? And he was barely able to stand up. He was falling over, right? A new player popped in, right? And the combat is very intuitive since it's just stabbing people with a sword, right? And he beat the guy's ass even when he could barely stand. He fell over like 3-4 times. He still won. I don't know how.
It's that drunken master.
Yeah, I know. But then there's other times too, right? Where have you ever had that moment when you like play a fighting game with someone you really know, like their fighting style? Semi, right, which is like the guy who popped into your chat and was like also in the test yesterday, right?
Yes, I do remember. Yeah.
The day before when like we popped out your chat being like, yo, we're gonna like play in the beta for a bit, right? We know each other so well because he was the one who taught me to dual wield, and like I was like the one who like continued it, and like we were pretty much like rivals and like best friends for so long, right? That even though there's like no animations or anything like that, we knew each other so well that we were like getting like 8 parry strings off of each other, like just like parry back to back to back, which I think is insanely fun. There's just a few things that you learn about a fighting game player when you like play against them, you know, like if you're playing against like a grappler, you know what kind of person they are. You don't even need to talk to them, you know what kind of person they are, right? If you're playing like depending on the character you play or the play style, you learn a lot about people intuitively, right? Like if they're like a rush down character, right, you know that they're like probably a bit more rash, a bit more aggressive than like someone who plays a puppet character. I don't get puppet characters. Puppet characters seem so sick, but I can't play them. What kind of characters do you play, Comfy, like normally in fighting games?
So, and it's weird because in Smash Bros I usually play Incineroar, but in games like Blaze Blue,
yeah,
and Guilty Gear, for example, in Blaze Blue I main Hakuman, and in Guilty Gear I main Agoriyuki, which are pretty long range poke characters. Both of these characters kind of have, you know, like I want to say kind of because like,
mid rangers,
yeah, something like that. Does it? You're playing at my pace, right? But if you get up in my face, I'm gonna be like, oh, so this is how I die. This is how it ends. We're done. Okay. Like when is it gonna be my turn? You know,
please don't be a spear user in Gura. Please don't be a spear user in Gura.
Dude, I'm sorry to break it to you. That's exactly where I'm gonna go.
Dude. Range characters are so hard to balance, especially in VR, because like the problem with that, right, is like, yeah, you can flail all you want. There's no stun animations. Like you can just flail the spear. It's so bad. but I would love to play a ranged character if it was balanced in Gura, but it's just not right now.
Right. But personally, I like playing really flashy characters where it's like, man, like that combo is rad, even though they might be low tier.
You remember the guy with like the cloak who's like really OP in Guilty Gear, like the guy who has like the stabbing needles or whatever? He's
Raven.
Like Raven. Yeah. So I just got the game, right? I don't know anything about the game, right? Me and like a bunch of friends are playing it like for fun, right? It's like the most OP character in the world. Like everyone considers it cheap, right? I had no idea at the time, but like I was kicking some ass. That's why you want some balance in your games, you know?
Right, of course.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of character would be really hard to balance though, just because of like the design, you know? Because of like how many like weird mechanics it has, its range, you know? They really do need to learn. Not learn, but they really need to find a way to like nerf it while not ruining the character, because that's like a major thing for a lot of games, you know? Like,
and not only does he have like really good mid range, that character we're talking about, Raven,
and long range.
He also has really good, and long range.
And
he just has good everything. A good projectile leads to a good character. And what does he have? A good projectile for what? Okizeme. And that's all you need for a character that can rush down, that can keep you from afar, and keep you at mid range.
Yeah.
Oh, Sin is just. But I like, for example, in Xrd, I would play a lot of Baiken, who's like kind of a technical character.
I played Sin, who is spear pole dude.
Yes, Sin is also so another character fun. I was playing.
Sin is so much fun.
Super duper fun to play.
I really like his smear frames when he's like, you know, like swinging the spear, like the medium heavy or whatever, or medium. Yeah, he is just a sick character. I'm sad he didn't get into Strive just yet. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Eventually. He plays a lot like Nagoriyuki, which is pretty cool. That's why I like playing Sin so much.
I really like his movement things too, because his movement is really interesting with like the pole staff and everything, you know? By the way, this is like after hours, but we're gonna continue a bit just because I enjoy this kind of conversation, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but I do enjoy range characters, especially when your opponent doesn't know how to get in. That's when the fun begins. When you can just keep poking them and pushing them back.
Right. And they're like, oh, it's like, oh, I can hit you in the air, or I can come at you from the air. You're like, nope, guess what? I got this real nice, too heavy, and it slashed the half the screen, and the half screen's mine. Just, you can't fight it.
Who's about to give Sin like 3 projectiles? Like he's already a spear dude. He doesn't need projectiles.
Yeah.
Or no, the projectiles are really good for pressure, you know? But yeah, no, I do enjoy ranged characters quite a bit. I enjoy methodical characters, where I enjoy the other end of the spectrum with rushdowns. There's no in between for me, because like I'm either all speed or I'm very methodical. It's just a really weird gray zone. I don't like, I don't like Shoto characters, you know? Shoto, yeah, Shoto.
Right.
Yeah, Shotos are a bit boring, I think, or most of the time they are.
I can see that.
Yeah,
they don't really stand out. They're pretty average around the board.
Soul is just really good, but like his character design, I don't think is like the most unique one. It's like the one which most people can get into, though. I think, right? It's like a very easy to pick up fighting style.
Yeah,
like if you play another game, he's your swordman. He's your swordsman, but then he does get really cool afterwards. I've noticed that no matter which fighting game you play, distancing is so important. Like even like a VR fighting game, like knowing how to do footsies in like VR is major. Knowing how to do footsies in Smash is even more major because of like the medium, right? That's why I don't like Soul Calibur's footsies, because Soul Calibur has like the circle thing, and that really makes it a bit awkward, you know? Because like the 3D format, which isn't really pulled off well, it plays like a 2D fighter, but you have to care about 3D physics as well. I just don't like how footsies work in that game. Also, it's really slow. Fast footsies are.
What are your thoughts on Tekken?
Tekken. Oh shoot, I remember Tekken. Tekken was actually my first fighting game. It was a while ago in the PS2 era. Me and my grandfather played with it all the time. A lot of good memories. Oh, hey, Snowfield. We're talking about fighting games right now. Welcome to After Hours. I told you Snowfield was here. I wasn't lying. But yeah, welcome home. We're having After Hours. So if you want to like just chill and talk about fighting games, we would love to have you, Snowfield. But yeah, Tekken I think is really fun. I played one of like the American kick fighter thingies. It's been so long. I haven't played enough Tekken to know how everything is. But yeah. Go eat. Where is Tekken these days? I don't think it's gotten as much, influence as it used to,
Tekken is actually really, really big.
It is.
It's like super big, and it's super dominated by a lot of the
Koreans?
East Asian, well, yes, also Koreans, but the East Asia area is super dominant in Tekken. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's Coffee. Hey. Yeah, Coffee. I don't have your React model right now, but if you can send one,
I put one in
PNGs. Okay, yeah. I'll add yours right now. But like
cool.
But Tekken, I haven't heard as much because there's like I think a big 3 thing going on for like the main fighting game sphere. There's like Street Fighter, which is just iconic, right? There's Mortal Kombat, which is your story bloody game, right? Where it has like I think Mortal Kombat definitely does like have the most story out of any of the games.
Yeah.
The balance is a bit worse than Street Fighter, I think, though. And then I would say for the anime fighter sphere, Guilty Gear is probably the paragon of that sphere, for like the traditional ones at least. And then Tekken is just like in the same niche as Street Fighter, I feel, right? Because if you're playing Tekken, you're probably also kind of into Street Fighter as well, since it's in the same area. And Street Fighter just I feel like eclipses that completely in like the modern, or like not the modern, but the layman's observation of everything. I hear about Tekken like 1/8 as much as I hear about Street Fighter, especially in like like YouTube documentaries or like news and everything. Is it like very centralized in Asia right now, or?
It is. Well, it's that, but it's also like super duper competitive. If you really wanted a game that has a super high skill level or like skill cap. Yeah. Tekken is gonna be the game you want to play.
Yeah, that's why the Koreans play.
Yeah, they got a really infamous. I say infamous, but very famous move called the Korean backdash.
Oh, the Korean backdash. Where isn't it like down, back, down, back, down, back, or something? Like that?
Something crazy like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like footsies, right? It's
right.
Footsies are interesting.
It's like 2D wave dashing.
Man.
Well, Smash is already 2D.
But yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. It's crazy how good people are at distancing or like spacing.
Oh yeah.
If you fight someone who's good at spacing, they don't need to be good at anything else. They'll still beat your ass.
No, right.
Yeah.
But other fighting games are like some coming in the future is King of Fighters.
Oh, King of Fighters. That's from the comic, right?
Yeah.
Man, imagine playing a fighting game that you found out from a comic.
That'd be cool. Just like, damn, I was like, who's this? Terry? Psh, what a lame name. You see him, he's just doing like fucking big old geysers. And it's like,
oh yeah,
I want to do that.
You know you're kind of big, or at least upcoming when you're in Smash, you know?
Yeah, no. You got Terry, and you got Ryu and Ken, and you got what's his name? Kazuma?
Oh wait, is this like the Smash or like traditional fighting games then?
Pretty high up there.
Yeah, okay. That's actually really cool. I'm glad fighting games are getting like their own mashup, I guess. But like my main worry is like how you'll incorporate all of those, because like Smash does it because it doesn't really care, you know? Because like Smash is unbalanced AF, you know? Like competitively, no. But like for like a serious game which you expect to like have everything balanced, like if I was if let me be perfectly honest, if I was the one who was making King of Fighters, right, and like there was like, you know, there was Street Fighter characters and like, you know, Mortal Kombat and like all those other franchises, I would just pick whichever my favorite franchise is and make that OP. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I think if like you're trying to balance that, there might be a complete conflict of interest, especially if like, let's say you're the creator of like, you know, a Street Fighter, and like, you know, there's some no name you know, off brand or whatever there too, which I feel like is sometimes a problem. There definitely are developer preferences for some characters, and I sometimes play really off meta characters and it hurts so much. Every patch I get debuffed, man. Every patch I get debuffed. I cry. But I feel like there could definitely be some kind of conflict of interest in a game like that. You would need to be very careful not to underrepresent anyone in a game, because like you know for sure that if like even like if Ren or not Ren, if Rio, right? If Rio is even slightly stronger than other game character protagonists, there's gonna be a flame war in the comments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But how do you balance multiple systems is like the problem, because I know what game is it? Not Arc. It's like one of the games by Arcworks that's not a Guilty Gear. I think you said it before, but there's like characters from like RWBY, Ruby, and like a bunch of other franchises, and they all
Blaze
have
Blue, Cross Tag.
Yeah, Blaze Blue Cross Tag, right? I know they have like different mechanics depending on which franchise you're playing, right? And I feel like that's a very interesting situation, because like even then, like having different mechanics would definitely unbalance things in some way, you know? And like I think it was done better. Yeah. When you get on, we can talk more about cross tags. I'm not exactly an expert on that, but I feel like it's probably already hard enough trying to mix 3 franchises, you know, with like 3 completely different mechanics. What happens when you try mixing like 4 or 5 franchises with all a lot of renown and weight to throw around, you know?
Well, you know, there's always Capcom versus Marvel.
Yeah, Capcom versus Marvel is a bit of a mess.
Really? Oh, I love Capcom versus Marvel.
Come on.
I mean,
I played once with I don't know if you guys know who Alvaro Todor is, but I played once with him on a collab.
Yeah,
it was super fun, even though I had no clue what I was doing.
I mean, like if you're playing it competitively, the meta is a bit off, I've heard. You know?
Oh yeah.
I think like the problem is like balancing, because like do you want to take yourself as a serious fighting game, or do you want to take yourself as more of a parting game? You know, if it's your first time playing, of course it's gotta be like party game territory, right? That's where Smash rules. That's where like, you know, that's where fun over actual design over like competitive design goes, right? But like for a fighting game which King of Fighters sounds like, I don't really know too much about Kings of Fighter myself, right? But for a game like that, they might be able to, you know, get like, you know, a party game, but like once they off their meta somehow, right? That's gonna not be fun for a bunch of parties playing, you know? It's gonna make like it's gonna make mad bank though, 100%.
It's interesting because like the less you hear about a game, that's how you can tell like how
good
competitive it is. Because you don't really hear about King of Fighters, and it's pretty competitive. Like the combos in that are kind of nutty. They're known for being very difficult.
Yeah.
And another one is like Samurai Showdown, which is like another one I dabbled in a little bit.
Isn't there like a super complicated combo tutorial thing in, what is it called?
King of Fighters?
In King of Fighters, and also in Guilty Gear too, right? Or not Guilty Gear, but I remember there was one where there was like a bunch of like chain things and like people were raging over it. I don't remember. It was probably King of Fighters.
Yeah, no, King of Fighters has some crazy long combos for no reason. Good
tutorials for that kind of thing is completely needed though. If you don't have good tutorials for that, the competitive scene has a hard time getting there. Unless you're a sweat, you know.
Right.
Remember when combos were unintentional by the developers, and now these days they're like completely intentional?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
From like, what was it? Was it Street Fighter 1 to 2, or is it 2 to 3?
I believe it was 2. I believe it was 2 where combos started.
Right, and then they just expanded on that in 3, and now 3 is like my favorite Street Fighter.
Yeah. Like that's a really interesting development, because like I feel like on one end that's really nice that they're putting more thought into things, right? But at the other end, it's kind of sad that I can't just make up a combo, or as easily make up a combo.
Right.
Yeah, no, they were completely unintentional, and then that became part of the meta, and then it just continued and stuck. It's weird.
Now we got infinites.
Ah, God, infinites. Infinites are the worst. I think for a newbie, they're kind of game killers, you know, because like. Because the first time I played Skullgirl online, right, I finished all like the bot stuff. I played through hard mode, right. I got tapped once, I died, then I stopped playing multiplayer. Yeah.
Skullgirls is pretty centralized for pretty long combos and playing a lot of 50-50s to make the infinites.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfair
for newbies.
But when it's right, especially for newbies. But games like going back to Capcom versus Marvel, there's a very infamous video called "You Want to Learn How to Do an Infinite."
Yeah.
And that it just kind of shows you how it's a guy just screaming about making an infinite, and in the comments there's a guy who won Evo. He's like, "Hey, I used this in Evo or to win an Evo tournament." But it's like, wow, it's like learning an infinite that difficult is kind of crazy.
That reminds me, I remember there was like a Madoka Magica like fighting game or whatever that's like completely unpatched, and like it's so unbalanced, right? That like they can't patch it because the company which made it went like under, right? So the thing is, like the entire community around it is there because of how unfair and completely unbalanced it is. I remember reading something. It's a Sailor Moon fighting game. Yeah. That's the one. All these anime just kind of blur, but like the Sailor Moon fighting game is just completely broken, and the entire community just revels in the fact of how unfair the game is, which I kind of respect, you know. It's something else. Yeah, I've seen it.
Speaking of weird fighting games, did you guys know there's a My Little Pony based fighting game?
What the hell?
And it's actually pretty good. Like it's pretty well done.
Yeah.
I think it's on Steam. I forgot what it's called. It's called like oh man, it's something cheesy, and I forgot what it's called. Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
Oh wait, I think I saw it, but I never really looked into it, so I can't say much about it. That sounds weird.
I like that. That's pretty funny.
I forgot what name it was. It was like, I have to look it up.
Fighting is magic. Okay. Wait, let me. I mean, it kind of is, man. Okay. Oh god, that sounds.
It's called Them Fighting Herds.
Them Fighting Herds.
Oh, that's a sick ass name. That's a sick ass name right there.
I love that.
From what I've heard and what I've seen, it's actually a pretty well done game.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, Snowfield got it.
Yeah, man. Oh, that sounds like something I would definitely want to try, just because of how weird it is. If it's free, I would try it. If it was money, no.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, free to play fighting games are just something else, though. Like, you guys remember Super Smash Clash or whatever, or whatever?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
those were so much fun. Oh, like all the weird characters they made, like the Unity, like Naruto or whatever, and that's just
fucking like Luffy in there.
dude. The thing about the Naruto model, right, is that I actually played the Naruto game on the Game Boy, so I knew all the combos.
Just buying, it's like, oh, I was just playing a regular game. I got this.
Yeah,
dude.
Dude.
They actually imported those Naruto models into Rivals of Aether too, which is really sick. And like they have like similar like combo chains and everything, or like not combo chains, but like, you know, inputs, which I think is super cool. The Naruto, the Naruto DS games, or not the DS, but the Game Boy games were just something else. Like their models and their gameplay, top tier right there. Golden Ronald. Yeah, no, they made something more OP. The thing I don't like about Gold, but you guys have seen Golden Ronald, right?
I don't think I have.
Basically, so in Rise of the Aether, right, they made a Ronald McDonald's model based off of Jotaro's animations off of like another game, right? And then they made him really dang OP, right? So that was like the strongest quote unquote character for the longest time, right? And then they made like a secret unlockable version of him called Golden Ronald, right? And when you played as AI, he pretty much got like zero recharge time for all of his skills, right? So he just spams skills, and he's like impossible to win unless you play like broken characters. And then eventually like some other people were like, huh, so this is so famous because it's OP, right? So I'm gonna just make another OP character, and those never really caught on because they weren't the first, you know, first movers advantage. Golden Ronald was only really cool because he was the first of his kind, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like Rivals Aether is a really interesting medium, just because, you know, it's a fighting game that actually has serious and like good mechanics that people can contribute to, which I don't think people really ever had, right? Because like, unless they're gonna be making a Mugen character, right? There's no other alternatives, right? Like
Right.
You guys know how hard making a Mugen character is. Yeah, don't even try. and then there's like there's so many, you know, there's so many like just Comfy, you have Rivals of Aether right now, right? If you pop up your workshop and go to the Rivals of Aether workshop, you'll see so many cool ass characters. Because like the community is just making so many characters that it's like pretty fun to play around with, and like they actually have like, you know, a serious character roster for characters that are balanced that you can play against like normal characters. And like it's like there's like competitive tournaments with these like, you know, these limited community chosen rosters which are like balanced against each other and like the original roster, which I think is really dang cool. You know, I feel like Rivals of Aether might be like the new version of like Super Smash Flash in the modern day, you know? Because they are making a game, the people are doing that, but like this is just more open source or not open source, but player makeable, you know? Which I think is insanely cool. Yeah. You were saying something?
Have you guys played or heard of Slap City?
Slap City.
Jake, I feel like
that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Let me search it.
It was a game made by a couple of devs, I think off of Melee. I might be wrong about that. But they made a little game. It was super duper fun.
Oh shoot, I saw this. I've seen it before.
They had like a duck, like a real buff duck Mudkip looking thing.
Yeah, the blue duck looking
And he
thing.
was like super like OP.
Did it ever like get off the ground or?
You wanna know how?
How?
They made Nickelodeon All Stars.
Yo,
Nice.
no way.
So the people who developed that game developed Nickelodeon All Stars.
So they
That's
made
cool,
it.
actually.
So they like
What?
made it.
Yeah, if you look at Slap City and the Nickelodeon All Stars, you can see a lot of similarities between it, which is actually super duper cool.
That's
Honestly,
cool.
I'm happy for them because like that means that their game is also 95% positive out of like the 2,000 plus reviews. That's really
it's
good.
Like, it's super nice. It's super fun from what I've seen, and now nobody plays it.
Yeah, kind of a shame.
I know Snowfield plays it a little bit. I'm not sure if he plays that much anymore. But that also kind of leads with like other people who have bought it who also want to play.
I know there was a lot of hype for the game when it was like coming out, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like them being paid by Nickelodeon might have killed Slapthing instead, because they had to like allocate their resources, you know?
Right.
On one end, I feel like that's a shame. On the other, I'm like, yo, good job, man. You know?
Right.
Because like I feel like at the same time having the Nickelodeon brand, both like, oh hey Snowfield, hey, I feel like the Nickelodeon brand for for a fighting game does both limit it and also boost it, because like it's like an initial boost, right? Nickelodeon fans will come in, right? But at the same time, only Nickelodeon fans are gonna play it, you know?
I feel like anyone who bought it only bought it for the memes.
Yeah.
And unless they do something, it's just gonna die out.
Yeah, and like they got the bag, right? They obviously got the bag from Nickelodeon already. So they're fine. But like it's kind of a shame that they had to kind of, abandon Slap Fight in return for it, or not. I wouldn't say abandon, but like it's just kind of a thing where if I was them, right, I would be putting all of my resources into the Nickelodeon brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer. I'm not sure how I feel about that. They probably wouldn't have ever gone super big either, but like, it's a shame. It's a shame. There was some hype there. So you know a lot about that game, right? Snowfield, can you give us your input?
What, Nickelodeon All Stars?
Oh no, I mean like Slap Fight, because like Comfy...
I never played Slap Fight.
You did?
I played it.
Oh, okay, I thought Comfy said you did.
No. He has experience in Crosstalk.
Other games. I never played Slap Fight because I saw video game Donkey.
Put respect on that game. It's called Slap City.
Slap City. Yeah, I saw him play it. I'm like, all right, that looks silly. Not my style.
How
not thing.
does Crosstag play around with like having different character mechanics for each franchise? Because that's the thing that interests me most.
I've been playing Crosstag since it came out.
Yep.
I don't really actively play it anymore because it's it seems like it's been abandoned. But
yeah.
I like how they did it. So they have Under Night in Birth, Blaze Blue, Ruby, and Persona 4. Right, those are the main 4. And then they added Akatsuki Blitzkampf, Senran Kagura, and let me think. I think that's it. I think that's the other ones they added, right?
Yep.
And I don't know about Senran Kagura. I don't think they had a fighting game. Akatsuki Blitzkampf had a fighting game. Is a fighting game, but it's like super old for like the PS2, I think. I don't remember. Or maybe it was on PC as well. Anyways, so Under Night in Birth, Blaze Blue, and Persona.
Yeah.
They were their own sort of they each had their own fighting game. So what they managed to do, and I applaud them for this, is they I don't know what order they did it in, but they have the core game mechanics for cross tag battle. It would be a 2v2.
Yeah.
You only have one round, right? It's not like 2 rounds. It's not like, oh, you lose a round. Well, you get 1 round, right?
Yeah.
It's 2v2. They have a meter. They have a cross meter. They have and then they have like these 4 squares that you build up by doing tag team mechanics, right? So you there's that juggling there, but at the same time, it's super simplified controls.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's no dragon punch input. It's all quarter circles. Right.
Damn. Quarter circle backslash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they managed, so they have the core mechanics of the game. There's a meter, there's a burst type thing, and then you can call in your ally, and then you can then it gets more complicated when you add in like calling in your ally but not actually having them switch in, or calling in your ally and controlling the ally but the main character stays there, and then you can swap back. They have it so that if you're in the middle of getting comboed, you can have your ally save you, and then they also have when you get knocked out, you can delay when the second character comes in, because it used to be on a fixed time, which means someone could just like reversal you. Yeah. And then there's a lot of like,
that's a good mechanic.
It's super super simple. Everybody has a reversal later.
Wait, who? What?
God, I don't know if they go by Staravia, but they're going.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you say. See ya.
Goodbye, Starly.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Okay, only serious fighting game players here. Goodbye, Starly.
So cross tag, so they got that base kind of mechanic. You got the health, but then they got the general tag mechanics that a lot of games have, where you recover health when you're not in battle. You have a refillable health gauge that chips down as you take damage, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like, you can only use your super if one ally's down, or your like ultimate insta kill move, and you get all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And then each franchise, they have their own mechanics, like just in general.
Yeah.
Under Night's got the Exis system. Blaze Blue's got, they got like their weird burst system.
They got Blaze Blue.
Yeah, they got Blaze Blue. Persona has the personas, right?
Yeah.
And each of them, their games were completely different, but then when they brought everything in, they consolidated everybody into the new system, but still kept aspects of their old system.
Yeah.
So Under Night characters, I know Under Night a bit better than the other ones because it's the one I've played the most recently.
Yeah.
Under Night characters have Exis, right? And it's essentially their meter and their super. It's their magic gauge, right?
Yeah.
And Under Night characters, they all have a passive ability that activates in certain situations, or is always active, or it just gives them bonuses in certain situations, right? And there's also this meter where there's also this gauge in Under Night where if you have more of it, whenever this 15-second timer finishes its tick, then you get the good buff that makes you better, right? And you don't want to lose the good buff. So Under Night characters in Cross Tag, they essentially meter is the same across all the games. Pretty much, you use it to make better good attacks better or something, right?
So they like kind of mixed all. They had like a central overarching thing, and then they mixed the franchise's mechanics into it, I guess.
A little bit. So Under Night, all of the characters' passives from their original game crossover. All of them. Every single character's unique passive from Under Night is translated into Cross Tag and then put in. The main character, I forgot his name. He gets chip damage in a game where nobody deals chip damage. He's the only one that does chip damage. In fact, every character has it except for one character, because in the version of Cross Tag that they kind of translated everything over from, she didn't have a passive.
Okay.
Right? She got one in the most recent version of Under Night.
That sounds like a pain.
Yeah. So every character's thing got brought over. All right. So then in Blaze Blue, every character's got their unique kind of burst, right? Yeah. All of theirs are brought over, except they're a little fucky. A lot of the times their burst is now they just do the better version of their attack. Yeah. Or their shit's just a passive. Like Tager, if he hits you and you have the thing around you, you're just gonna get flung around the world because he can just magnet you in, right? It's extra stupid because Blaze Blue has it so that every character not only has a unique way of using the meter, but has its own gameplay system, right? Like Ragnar's kind of basic, except he steals health. Jin can freeze you and slow you down. And there's a bunch of shit. They put in Susanoo, who was like one of the super characters in the game. His mechanic in Blaze Blue was he had like a 7-thing meter, and in order to every time you hit your opponent, like the one that's highlighted would shift over, and then if you hit him with a special move, it would unlock that one, allowing you to do the super good move, right? Yeah. And then one of his supers made you do all of them in a row.
This sounds really unbalanced.
The more you have unlocked, the more damage you do. He has mid-fight DLC, right?
Okay, is the game super unbalanced?
Blaze Blue?
Yeah.
I mean, what game's perfectly balanced? There's obviously better characters than others, right?
That's not a good excuse.
So, go watch some high-level Blaze Blue gameplay. It's nuts, right? Okay. So Susanoo in Cross Tag, he has free DLC. All of the DLC moves he has to unlock, they're just unlocked, so he can do all of his best shit right away. Okay. Right? And then every other character there passes are brought over. Like one of my mains, Azrael.
Yeah.
In Blaze Blue, when he hits you with certain moves, he'll put a marker on you that's high or low, and then if he hits you high or low with a certain move of that kind, you do more damage. How they translate that over into cross tag is you have to double tap, right? So if you hit them with a heavy C, you have to double tap the C when they have the marker, and it'll make a bone crunch sound effect, and it causes more hit stun and more of the bullshit, right?
Huh.
And like so Blaze Blue, Under Night, that's cool. In Persona, I never really got a chance to play it when it was like out.
Yeah.
But in Persona 4 Ultimax, you have like these cards, and then you can like use them to summon your persona because they had a tarot card theme going. And then if you took damage while your persona was out, some shit happens. In Cross Tag, the persona is essentially another hitbox for you.
Oh, so
right?
it's a puppet characters. They're like puppet characters.
Yeah, it's not really a puppet character. It's more like a stand in the JoJo fighting game. So like, you know,
lesser puppet characters.
Yeah. I mean, a puppet character. I personally think a puppet character is where the puppet's almost always out. The your specials just come from your.
Okay, so they're like 0.5
persona
puppet characters.
Sure. Yeah, and then Ruby. Yeah. They had to like make it up. They're all right, how do we translate Ruby, which has never had a fighting game, over to the thing? So how they did it through semblances. Because Ruby, I don't know if anyone's watched Ruby, but they all have everybody in the world has a unique special power that they can hone and train. Unique. It's not magic, but it is. It's called a semblance.
Just magic, and then they snort dust.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't it like dust?
Yeah. So dust is just magic rocks they can use to power their weapons or to augment their semblance, right? And there's like a bunch of different elements, and you can do stuff, right? I got
into like early Ruby, but like I felt like it really fell down after a while, you know? Like I know there's like a bunch of like background stuff.
I'm buying 2 seasons because I'm up to season 7. Season 8 just finished, and I think season 9 is gonna be airing soon. I don't know. I gotta catch up.
I know there's
I'm
like
kind of invested.
a bunch of background stuff that like made like the quality of it like drop, you know, drastically, like, you know, the fighting animations and all that stuff, and like there's a lot of drama and everything too.
So, there's a video where somebody talks about that.
I really wasn't into it after all like the drama and everything happened. I was just like, like the quality of it was already like, you know, pushing me off of it. But then like everything else,
the quality's upped, but like I don't know, the writing needs to catch up, and the fight scenes honestly, season 7 was 1, 2, and 3 were the sort of the Montione
golden age.
I try not to like focus on just the beginning, because the first 3 seasons had a lot of their own problems, and we're talking about story and other thing wise. I mean, just like those were the ones Montione worked on personally before he died, right? Seasons 4 and 5 were kind of them trying to pick up the pieces and keep going with with what story they had. And they had a problem with a lot of. This was the first show these guys ever ran as showrunners, and there was just a lot of like talking and stuff not happening.
Yeah, because our main animators
and then they would stop fighting to talk, and then they would resume fighting, right?
Oh god,
season 6 season 6 they picked up from that, and then season 7 they started doing better, right? Because Monty he never was really a writer. He more of just told a story. And sometimes he would tell the story through writing. I don't know how 8 and 9 are. I gotta catch up. But 6 and 7 is when they started kind of picking it back up. Okay, so then they translated everybody's semblances into Crosstalk. How did they do that? Well, everybody's semblance essentially works a different way, and they did it by just give everybody a passive mechanic that makes them feel unique, and then kind of build them around that. Ruby was, and I'm pretty sure still is, one of the most broken characters, like literally game breaking and literally difficult to kill or difficult to fight. Because in season 1, you had the Scythe gang. There was Gordeau from Under Night and Ruby so they both had sides. Well, unfortunately, Gordeau doesn't care what neutral is. He's gonna hit you because he had a scythe that was like 3 of him wide, and he would hit you from a lot of distances. Ruby had a scythe that wasn't quite so bad, but she could chain
Bailiff
any
from
move.
Smash. He's Bailiff from Smash.
Yeah. So Ruby could chain any attack into her gun move, which is just like, so it doesn't matter what's happening, she will shoot you, right? And then this was like early. This was like season 1 cross tag. If you played Ruby and Tager could magnetize the enemy and throw them, and then Ruby could chase them into the air, they would fly off the map.
This just sounds
Everybody just fly off the map. So they managed to translate semblances into cross tag. So Ruby, she can cancel a lot of moves into other things that you normally couldn't because she's a speedster. Yeah. Right? Weiss, a lot of her moves can leave a glyph behind, and if you do the move near the glyph, it functions differently.
Or she's like an item user type character, right? Or like spellcaster?
It's more like a set play character, because if you set up the things just right, you can do her moves and combo in ways you normally couldn't.
I mean like her character design in like the show was always to me like a spellcaster item user type thing.
She was more of a spellcaster type of character. I wouldn't say items, but it was she would like switch between elements she was like you could call her a stance character in the show. Like in the game she's not a stance character, but in the show you could consider that. And then Blake, her mechanic was her main thing was she had a gun with a blade on the end. She would swing it around, right? So all of her moves involving the whip gun dealt extra damage, had different properties if she hit them at the perfect point, because if they were too close, she'd hit them with the string. But if they were far enough away, she would combo better, because at the end of her reach so she had sweet spots on all her moves. And then Yang was added a few weeks after the game came out.
That feels really weird. Because like they're always like a pair.
It was weird because she was like free DLC but wasn't released yet. When she was released, you could not play a game in the lobby without running into Yang.
They should have released her right when she died in the show. Or no, she didn't die. She lost her arm.
No, she lost her arm. So this Yang was before she lost her arm.
Pyra. Yeah.
Yeah. People kept expecting the lad Team Juniper, but I don't see him. So Yang's thing in the show is, as she takes damage, she can store it up and then have a big temper tantrum and be super strong, right?
Yeah.
In the game, when your health hits red, so when she hits the 30% mark, she will go into an animation like Nagoriyuki in Strive, right?
Yeah.
She'll like flex, there'll be a big symbol, and it'll be cool, and then the battle theme changes to her theme. Ooh. It doesn't matter whose theme is playing, it's her theme now. And then her theme song plays, all of her moves are on fire, she deals extra damage, a lot of them are faster, more shit, it's just all of her moves are better. But she's at 30% health permanently, because she's at 30% health. So it's like, oh no, what do I do? Well,
John really got shafted, didn't he? John really got John, I think the normal dude with a sword and shield or whatever from season 1.
Oh god,
he got
like
shafted.
In the show.
Yeah, in the show, he got shafted so bad because like he was like moving to main character status, and then they just don't care about him anymore.
Yeah. The problem with John is he was one of the writer's self-inserts, literally, right? And he got a lot of favoritism, but then when they started to back off of that, I think he's improved personally, because one, he learned to fight better. Yep. 2, he learned to use his sword and shield in a way that was more than just like block and hit, because he can actually put his shield onto his sword and it transforms into a claymore. And then he has so he does stuff now. He's actually somewhat useful. He got a haircut.
Like the story wise, he's like thematically shafted because like his characters.
He's still. I mean, it's called Ruby. It's not called John.
Not true. He moved from like main character status to secondary character, or not secondary, but like character.
Stay in the secondary character status.
Yeah,
he needs to stay there personally. So Yang, honestly, one of my favorite characters in Cross Tag, because it doesn't matter. It's my theme song now, and she can heal past that mark, and it stays on.
Literally steals the show.
Literally, yes. If you went online, there would be no other theme songs playing for very long.
Her weapons are just horribly designed, though. Her weapons are just
weapons. Like, of course, they're not great designs, Like she had gauntlets with shotguns in them. Okay, it's cool. It's cool. It doesn't matter. It's
shatter
not
her bones as soon as she used them. Like
all superhuman. They have magic force fields on that they can turn on to be gods. They are
Ruby characters.
they just turn on their fucking super god force field. You know.
yeah.
Yeah. And then they added the last Ruby character to be added, if they ever add any more. I don't know. Was Neapolitan,
Yep.
who honestly changed the game, in my opinion, because Neo in the show, her semblance, once you discover what it is, oh no, spoilers, she can make essentially hard light realistic like illusions, right? So she can like literally just change her appearance and it would look and feel real. She could make a fake clones of herself that shatter,
Yeah.
right, if you hit them, so she can make hard light illusions. How that translates into cross tag is she can essentially teleport,
Yeah.
which is really funny because it's like, oh no, I'm fighting 3 people but it's 1 people.
That makes
One
sense.
people.
Man, clone characters are fun.
Oh yeah.
I remember playing Naruto a lot in
Which one?
What is it? Not it was one of the DS games, right? Naruto, like the story thing, like the what is it, arc? It was during the Chunin exam arc, right? That was a really fun game. Naruto was such a good character because he had like such like sick combos, everything, you know. But he's been in a lot of fan-made video games, you know. He's been in Smash Flash. His exact model is also
Naruto?
yeah, Naruto, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Goku.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I prefer Naruto over Goku in like a normal fighting game just because Goku scales so high now. And also because
Yeah,
Naruto
it's just-
has at least early Naruto has such a varied repertoire of skills compared to, Goku, right? Because Goku does fists and all that stuff, but like Naruto has the classic Shoto skill set, right? He has like kunais, he has like some spells for like the fireballs, right? He has like movement, and like a bunch of like other tricks up his sleeves. I think he's like a more interesting character, at least for a video game perspective, I feel like he does become Goku again later, like he becomes like Z Goku during Shippuden. So I definitely do prefer early Naruto for a character. Yeah, but that was one of my worries, right? Because from what you were saying, right? They were having problems balancing like the multiple mechanics, right? And the entire conversation about what is it about Blaze Blue cross tag, right? Stemmed because we were talking about King of Fighters, which like mixes, or based on what Confi tells me, mixes like multiple fighting games, right? I feel like there's definitely gonna be like favoritism and like unbalanced stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been like looking at Gura from like a game design perspective, and like balancing how different weapons work, especially if they have completely different mechanics, just doesn't work 99% of the time,
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like for a franchise which mixes different franchises, it's very hard to balance things, especially when there's inevitably gonna be like developer bias towards things, because obviously if you're like the person who's like running Capcom, you're not gonna make the Street, or does Capcom run Street Fighter? You're not gonna make whatever company you own weak. Capcom owns Street Fighter, right? And like having like a mixed game where like there's like a mixed bag of characters from different franchises, I feel like there's a how do I say it, a conflict in interest, right? Because you're obviously gonna want your franchise or the character you design to be the strongest, right? Like you're gonna be like the meta probably, right? And
right, I mean, I can see that, but there's still, I feel like some people would try to have some integrity and at least make the game somewhat balanced, like reuse the poster boy for Street Fighter, and he's always in mid tier, or at least B tier, so that because they understand there's more to it than that a little bit. Like one example that definitely gives credit towards what you're saying is Marvel versus Capcom Infinite.
Yeah.
Disney forced them to make all the Marvel characters, the Disney ones.
Yeah.
They forced them to make those characters less ugly. They like that's why all the Capcom characters are actually uglier.
Okay. But yeah, favoritism and like too many like hands on one pot is definitely a worry of mine, especially when there's like different mechanical sets and everything. Because like I feel like
I mean, Sakurai favors Kirby, but you don't see Kirby being the best character in Smash Bros.
That's true, but Kirby isn't DLC, and like the DLC characters are completely broken because it makes money.
They're broken until someone finds a way around it.
Kirby is kind of really annoying to fight though, because he has like the floating thing. He's super dang annoying.
Yeah, he's also like super light, so if you like hit him with the neutral A off stage, he's gonna die.
Yeah, but if you don't hit him into the blast
to
zone, he's getting back on stage no matter what.
Oh yeah.
Well, just hit him with another neutral A.
Yeah.
I do think Kirby's like fairly high tier.
Smash Bros.
Maybe not top tier though. He's like not like
Kirby?
He's not like low tier, right?
Kirby's pretty low tier.
Huh, I see. I'm surprised.
Kirby, Meta Knight, Jigglypuff, those are all low tier. DDD is pretty low tier.
Oh,
I play DDD.
I mainly have experience in the Wii version where they were mostly top tier, you know?
It's not the one that banned Meta Knight.
Yeah.
Brawl did ban Meta Knight, but Kirby.
Yeah, Meta Knight has always been really good in the old versions, like really, really good.
Yeah.
That's fast characters for you. Fast characters are very hard to balance.
There's I don't know if you've ever seen Core A Gaming. You ever watch any of their videos?
Yeah, I watch a lot of them. It's been a while though.
Yeah, so he had one about game balance. It's like, all right, what do you do? Do you nerf characters? Do you buff characters? What's the right way to do it? And the answer is it's better. There's no real answer, but it's probably buff everybody.
Yeah.
And nerf only certain things that are like egregious.
Yeah. I feel like at some point you can't buff them anymore. Like for example, when everyone's like 2-shotting and 3-shotting, it's very hard to like balance things damage wise, you know?
It depends on the game.
Yeah.
I think like Strive, I would expect like certain matchups. Like if I'm fighting Chip, it's gonna feel like 3 hits because I play Potemkin, but it's gonna feel like 3 hits.
Yeah. Grabbers.
But if I'm fighting against Potemkin, it's gonna take longer.
Yeah. I feel like there's like so many axes for like balancing an attack that it's like really hard to do well. Like for example, right? Like grapplers have like the very slow attacks and everything to make up for their high damage, right?
Yeah.
But like if you keep buffing things, eventually the damage will be so high that you'll need to use other avenues to balance things out. And like there's
more than just damage. Like there's frame data.
Frame data is fun.
Frame data. There's attack range. There's ways of getting in. Yeah, that's right. Then they can also change like core mechanics themselves. Like they made it in the last Strive patch. You can Roman cancel into and out of more things.
Yeah.
Which you couldn't do before. Like I can now, for no reason, if I felt like it, Roman cancel mid pot buster and then launch myself into the air off screen, and then you would be on the ground, and that benefits nobody. Please not.
It just looks funny.
Canceling
Worst
games.
position for me to be in. I can do it for fun.
Yeah. Canceling games, I think, is an interesting thing to discuss because, like, on one end, it's something that only, like, pros or people that are, like, experienced in the field will know about, Because, like most new players will never intuitively come across canceling unless you, like, tell them straight up, right?
Yeah.
Guilty
a
Gear
lot of
actually, it enforces, if you did the tutorial, it enforces you to do jump canceling, so you can jump cancel out of your special.
Yeah. Yep. There's jump canceling. There's special canceling, which is like the most one of the more basic ones.
Yeah.
Where you just do a special after during a move string.
Yeah.
And that's what makes like Nagoriyuki so fun is all these canceling. It's just a matter of keeping up combos, which isn't difficult at all because it's Nagoriyuki.
Yeah, and he's got rekkas and true combos and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the most basic combo I do for pot is God, I don't even remember it. Like it's like do I remember the combo notation?
Some combos
or do
you
I
just remember to do. Like you just have your keyboard and you do it. Yeah.
I can't translate the muscle memory into words. I just remember the muscle memory. But it's like it's close slash far slash
Too heavy slash.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. There's still has it. is it close slash far slash too heavy into fucking anything in the air?
That's scary.
For example, yeah, it's just muscle memory. I like it.
I feel like at some point we'll need to like simplify a lot of fighting games to get more people into it. That's like where Smash comes in and all that, you know? Because Smash is just a really a good introductionary thing. But like the more canceling, the harder it will be for like new guys to get in there.
But it depends on the player. If we're talking about the casual, average, I'm just here to have fun type of person, and my definition of fun is we're just doing shit. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. But then there's people who want more. Right? Like if I just example. Yeah. There's people who want more, right? I want a battle, you know? I don't want to just I want a battle. So if the game was as simple as possible, but still
had a lot of skill cap.
Yeah, like no, yeah, okay. So let's look at the most simple fighting game out there. Have you played Footsies, the fighting game?
Have you played Go, the board game?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh,
but
Go is
there's
so
a fighting
good.
game called Footsies. It's made by Hi Fight.
Yeah.
And it's literally you can move back and forth, or no, you can move back and forth, and then you can attack, and then you can go into supers, and you have a reversal, and that's it. That's it. That's all you got. Both sides are the same. The graphics are super simple. You can run it on your phone.
So it's like solidified or like condensed fighting game meta. I mean, like
yes, it condenses all of fighting games into the pureness of just you're playing footsies.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why the game's called Footsies. And even in a game like that, you can have fun, even though it's so simple. You can definitely have fun.
Yeah.
Doing stuff. Right? A game doesn't need to be hyper complex, crazy BS.
That's what I agree with that. Yeah.
But some people want that. And because there's such a wide variety of games, they're going to get it. It's like in game design, one saying, I forgot who said it. I think it was Gabe Newell. It was either somebody from Valve or a game designer for something. If you let them, players will optimize the fun out of a game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've heard that quote.
Yeah. So,
I think like easy to learn and like, you know, easy to learn, but very like complex once you like, you know, extrapolate those mechanics. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be something.
That's like, where Go is for me, because like it's like a board game, right? And it has like 3 rules. You don't need to memorize how like any pieces move because they're all the same piece, right? But people have extrapolated the entire board to like do puzzles with it. They've learned like optimal openings, all that kind of stuff, right? People have very much optimized a very simple game into like a very complex thing, but it's like still easy enough for like a newbie to pick up that they can play to some degree, you know? They're gonna get stomped if they play with someone like that's actually good, but like I think like at some point we'll need to like, you know, have a lot more easy to pick up games, right? Because like if you get into like any normal online game, you're gonna get completely smashed without knowing why. Including Smash, you know, or no, Smash would be a bit easier because it doesn't have as many like hidden mechanics as other games, you know. But like,
you hidden mechanics.
I mean, like canceling, you know, secret combos.
There's cancels and there's some combo.
It's not as major as like Street Fighter or anything else like that, you know.
Yeah, but Sakurai designed like that on purpose.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a casual game more than anything else.
Yeah, it's absolutely like they don't even acknowledge that it's a fighting game. You can go
they actively go against
with it if you want. Yeah, you know the story behind that?
No.
About okay, so Sakurai used to be really into King of Fighters, right?
Yeah.
And okay, I heard this story. I don't know if it's true or not. I think I like to think it's true. So Sakurai, he used to play King of Fighters a lot, and then back in the day, everyone would go to the arcade, and your cabinet was across from the other person, so you don't see who you're playing against. It's just you're sitting at the cabinet, and then here comes a new challenger, that kind of thing, right? Yeah. So he's sitting there at the cabinet, and when he played. He was one of those guys, you know, it was the culture at the arcade was you always give it your all, no matter who you're fighting. He also didn't know who he was playing against. Yeah. So he annihilated. He annihilated. Hang on.
It was someone he knew, wasn't it?
Completely squandered.
Yeah, he annihilated, absolutely wrecked he absolutely wrecked the other person, just smeared them across the ground.
Oh, no.
Turns out it was a young couple on a date, and when he saw their crestfallen faces, he felt really bad.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, he felt really bad. Oh, I caught it. He felt really bad about it. So then he made Smash Brothers, a game where anybody could play and have a good time.
And then there's like, you know, the original games, which are still pretty dang difficult, or like optimizable, like Brawl and everything. Like they've optimized it to hell and back.
They've definitely optimized
well,
it.
Actually, in Brawl, because before Brawl was Melee.
Yeah, Melee is the one I was thinking.
The biggest competitive
game,
Smash Bros. Game, right? And what they did so you guys know about wave dashing,
dashing,
canceling and whatnot.
Yep.
So they did so much to circumvent that one of the biggest things that people hated about Brawl was tripping. If you ran too much or you ran for too long, you would trip and fall over.
So they didn't.
So you weren't able to wave dash.
Yeah.
Right. So play like. That was like one of the few things that they did. I think another one was shortening combos. Yeah. Right. Unless you're Meta Knight, Meta Knight can do anything. He literally is the best character. God. Probably the entirety of any Smash game. And then in Smash Ultimate, they just
simplified it even more.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much all they did.
That reminds me of something. You remember when you were talking about Yang and like how she has like the comeback mechanic? Comeback mechanics. Comeback mechanics I think are really interesting in fighting games because like on one end, right, they do like make a fight more interesting when like the opponent's at low health, right? But on the other end, it just kind of feels cheap sometimes, you know, like Lucario, how like the lower he is, the more damage he does or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or the higher.
In the new Melty Blood, if you are one round away from losing, you get a buff.
Oh no.
So round one, depending on the character, a lot of players are gonna just not try very hard just to get that round 2 buff. And I think that's super funny.
In Smash, there's Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate. More in Smash 4. Inferior Smash. There was a mechanic called Rage, where once you hit, I think it's around 95-90%.
Oh, I remember this.
Rage. And what that would do is it would increase damage and increase knockback. So you would see there's one like super famous Evo clip of Bayonetta hitting Sonic from 0% from the top of the screen and killing him instantly because he hit someone in the blast him because of Rage. And that was their comeback mechanic. And it was stupid broken.
That sounds really
Charizard and Bowser were the couple of characters that you can use or fully use Rage on because they're heavy hitters. They hit slow. And I remember playing Charizard and you would kill people at like 70% from middle stage.
Charizard just does a lot of damage in general, like even without Rage.
He does do a lot of damage, but he's also super duper slow and he's also super low tier.
Squirtle main any day.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of sad that they put them all as one character in Smash Ultimate, but
you know what makes me the saddest? That Charizard is the only final evolution. The other two are just first evolutions. Like, what the hell is this trainer doing?
Ivysaur's a secondary. Ivysaur's a second evolution.
Oh,
it goes first, second, and then final, which is actually pretty neat. I wish they switched them around. Though.
Justice for Squirtle, please.
That's fine.
Man, I'm always a water type trainer. Like, it's either water or ice or anything like, you know, cold or like, you know, Like
I mostly play poison and electric, and
I only play poison or ghost.
I'm the guy who gets his Mudkip, levels it up all the way to a Swampert, and only use that Pokemon.
Yeah, no, it's a great strat because that's a great Pokemon.
I like Swampert.
I do like Swampert.
It's one of my favorites.
Swampert's amazing. Mudkip is super dang cute, man. Mm-hmm. I wish there was more Mudkip content, but he's not first gen, so they don't get the nostalgia perk.
Mudkip is like super favorited though.
Yeah, but like they don't get any new content, right? They like Squirtle's in every new game, right? But like Mudkip's like at most on a card, right?
Could you imagine liking Bulbasaur for all these years, only for Charizard to have the first like Dynamax evolution,
and you're like evolution X and Y,
and you're like, God damn it, where's like the other two at? It's like, I don't want this shitty dragon. I've seen him way too many times.
Dude,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
if there's like a
let's see.
dichotomy between like different characters, like, you know, like there's like a water, fire, or whatever, and like there's like, you know, a trinity, right? I always like them being balanced, you know, where like they're
the rock
balanced
paper
against.
scissors.
Yeah, because like if you give Charizard two two XY evolutions, right, and then also like the first Dynamax or whatever, where are the other guys at, man? Like
Oh no, like Pokemon totally favorites Charizards, like
Yeah,
100%.
was,
It
like-
is crazy.
That's every kid's favorite because it's the wagon.
Yeah, and like even in the TCG, like the
Yeah.
Pokemon cards themselves are very, very good, and the selling price for any like Charizard card is going to be super high up compared to anything else.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I have a full art Reshiram Charizard. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. I wonder how much it goes for. It's like $150. I'm like, oh my god.
I really don't like how imbalanced it is. Like, we need more justice for Bulbasaur, because like Squirtle has a lot of stuff for him, right?
I love Bulbasaur. He's poison, eh?
Bulbasaur's cool. Oh, yeah, it's poison grass. That's
Yeah,
dope.
we need justice for Bulbasaur. and, like,
Charizard's
content.
extremely fragile, though.
To rocks.
To rock, yeah. So like, oh no, I switched into Stealth Rock with my Charizard. Goodbye.
There goes
I'm-
half my health.
There goes, yeah. There goes everything. I'm dead. Bye. It's so funny. It's
Funny
like,
enough, Bulbasaur is actually the strongest starter in like like stats wise.
Mhm.
But,
yeah,
like,
because he was very bulky. Also gets thick fat. Venusaur gets thick fat, so it gets rid of two weaknesses right there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I wish Bulbasaur got more content. Like, my favorite's definitely Squirtle, but like they really did Bulbasaur badly.
I actually super love Bulbasaur.
Man, I wish the later generations also got a bit more love. Like you know, like all like the new starters and everything. Like they have one generation to shine and then they're like tossed in the trash. First movers
like-
advantage is sad, man.
The new Pokemon game coming out is going to be like my favorite Pokemon game.
Oh yeah,
And
I really they haven't showed it yet, but I really hope they let us throw hands.
I am super excited to throw
Like
hands with Pokemon.
I really hope they let you instead of just running around and not
Oh,
getting
guys,
hit.
if you guys are into the
I-
Pokemon franchise, you guys need to try the Digimon games because they're a lot darker, a lot
Oh yeah,
tougher.
I like them. I like them.
yeah.
I
Have you played Cyber Sleuth?
I have Cyber Sleuth. I bought it when it came out on PS4.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
I just don't like this mechanic's in like almost all the Digimon games, and I don't like it.
Which
Where
mechanic?
you have to continuously evolve and de-evolve your Digimon
Oh, yeah,
over
no,
and over to
that's
get the
annoying.
right stats to evolve. Like, stop making me grind. Stop
Dude,
it.
dude,
I
dude,
just
dude,
want to like.
You want a
I don't want
secret? You want to hear a
stuff.
secret?
What's
If,
that?
if you have it on Switch, right, you can leave your Switch on overnight and it still counts as the time on the farm, so you can just keep evolving and de-evolving them every night.
God, I wish I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, him.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's an annoying mechanic right there.
It's annoying. I liked Digimon World 1, where if you get your stats a certain way, your Digimon evolves, and when it dies eventually of old age, it turns into an egg.
Yeah.
Because for the PS1, Child Me figured something out.
Yeah.
If you let your Digimon just shit its pants over and over, your baby or your rookie Digimon, if you just let it just poop itself, never use the bathroom properly, it doesn't matter its stats. If you let it max out its virus meter, it always digivolves into Numemon, who sucks because his only moves are eat shit and die. Literally, he just
die.
Yeah, he just throws poop, eats poop. All the crap that you left around the world from earlier, before he evolved, you can eat that. You don't have to feed him real food, right? It doesn't matter. Then you go to Toy Town. There is a teddy bear costume that you can have Numemon crawl inside, and he will instantly evolve into Monzemon,
Oh yeah.
who is way better.
That's really sick lore too.
Yeah,
I've never gotten into Digimon. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Digimon's
I know
fucking
that-
cool.
I
I know
highly
that they
suggest
shit themselves. I know that they shit themselves, and I know that there's Agumon.
I highly
Yeah.
suggest Cyber Sleuth. Start with Cyber Sleuth because it's for me, right? The theming and everything's really nice because it's like Pokemon but more technically complex, right?
Yeah, it's definitely
it's
complex Pokemon.
It's complex Pokemon with like, you know, more mature themes, right? Because they talk about like human trafficking, sexual harassment, stalking, you know.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. It's Cybersleuth really feels like Personamon.
Yeah,
a little bit.
What did you
I
call
mean,
that?
not really.
What
All the Digimon series were really dark. Like even the first series had torture.
No, I mean, like the gameplay, it really feels like
Yeah.
an SMT Persona type game.
What
Yeah.
did you call that shit Digimon? The Shittimon? What
Numemon?
Numemon. I want to see what this guy looks like.
Oh, Numemon. He's green and slimy. If you watched me play Digimon World 2, he was the second boss.
The lore for him, right? The lore for him is that he's the mistake evolution in the original V-Pets, right? So like whenever you failed your evolution requirements, you got him. So that's why he's so iconic.
Yeah. So I just did it on purpose. I just did it on purpose because Monzumon's strong as fuck.
What does it evolve into?
Monzamon.
There's like gold versions of him and shit. I don't know why Digimon has such a poop fascination. I remember one episode of the original Digimon anime when they were back in the real world in the second arc, or the second major arc, and like they're in a car with like one of their family friends, and Agumon couldn't hold it, and there's like a big pink shit. I don't know if they recolored it or if that's just what it looks like, and it was so fucking funny. Because the guy's freaking like, what the hell is that?
Here's a bit of context for that. The context is that Digimon started as a spin-off of the Tamagotchi series, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so their original V-Pets, like that was such an integral part, especially baby level. So it's like, yeah, it kind of just stuck. Yeah, I kind of regret that.
I can't believe they shit out the fucking Tubby custard. Teletubby.
Yeah, no, they actually shit out Tubby Custard. It's so fucking funny.
Okay. I have one thing that Digimon does not have. I mean, that Pokemon does not have. Have you guys heard of the Sistermon line?
Sistermon?
Yeah. Okay. Let's check the Discord real quick. I'm gonna be sending you guys official Digimon art. It's Digimon is a lot more horny and has a lot more guns than Pokemon does.
Oh wow, they're fucking nuns.
They're nuns with guns.
Dude, that's the best thing.
Sword.
Oh wait.
These look like Bayonetta characters.
Yeah, it's literally Bayonetta.
This is a official screenshot from Cybersleuth. Anyone in the stream, you will not be able to see this, but we don't care. But this is an official screenshot from Cybersleuth. She's
Hell yeah.
Oh, and like, you know, Digimon knows what it's doing. Like Digimon knows what it's doing here. Like you remember the scene where we had Angel Woman and like Lady Devamon or whatever, right? With like the cats and everything. That was a good scene. That was a good scene.
And then in the game, when they DNA digivolve, it looks like they're about to kiss, and then they transform into a combination form.
Yeah, it's like a lady angel and a lady devil woman thing, and like, you know, BDSM gear, and like, yeah, it's great. 10 out of 10.
It's great. It's awesome.
Digimon does not pull back. It's
like Digimon.
Like, if you're into violence and you're tired of how like tame Pokemon is, there's literally a gun.
Motherfuckers die.
What?
Motherfuckers die. It's funny. Yesterday, since we're on the topic of Digimon, I was on Facebook, and I have a few Digimon fan pages liked, and one of them posted a chart for the fucking that dragon right there, that gun dragon.
Gundramon.
He looks fucking rad.
His name is Gundramon, as in gun dragon monster.
Yeah. Okay. So on this Facebook album, it was every main character's Digimon from every season in order, and it had a chart of how they digivolve and into what, right? So it'd be like Agumon, or like Bodamon into whatever, into Agumon, into Greymon, and then Greymon into this and that, and then the chart would like split off, and if they had alternate evolutions and stuff.
It's like this thing I just posted in the Discord.
Except it was focused on main characters and stuff.
Yeah, you see this Tankmon right here? Wait, let me tell Comfy about this Tankmon. You don't mind slight spoilers, right? You don't mind the spoilers, right? So basically, in Cybersleuth, right, he tracked down Tankmon, right? Like this tank Digimon, right? And he tells you, hey, you're not from the government, right? I just escaped and all that, right? So you're like, yeah, I'm not from the government, blah blah blah. You defeat him, you talk him down, and he's like, okay, so I'll like go back with you and all that, right? And then one of your friends calls you, right? And is like, hey, and then he's like, oh, you're from the government, right? So he kills himself because he doesn't want to be used as like a government weapon in warfare or like cyber warfare anymore. So he literally just takes his life like on screen pretty much.
He kills himself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Go on.
And it's like super dark.
It's super dark. Cyber Sleuth starts off dark. You and your friends were exploring the virtual reality world, and you got touched by a horrible virus corruption thing.
Yeah,
and now you
in
are
a coma.
a digital ghost outside of your own body while you're stuck in the while your body's stuck in the hospital.
Yeah, and in the meanwhile, right? In the meanwhile, there's like a quest in the first quarter of the game where the entire thing is someone's selling like dolls, right? Like dolls of like actual people, right? With like they're full on scans and everything, like because it's like the future, right? So that's already really creepy, right? And we find out that anyone who buys it cannot leave the room, right? And that's because they're actually just trapped in the virtual world while their bodies are sold off, right? So we go into this guy's room, right? And we're like, yo, wake up. This isn't the actual world, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like really happy because like, he has a bunch of dolls of people that he likes, right? That like, take care of him and everything, the virtual world. And the entire story ends off with him noticing, why can't I log off, or like why am I stuck here, And we never talk about him again because he's just left there. All we know about him is that he's like stuck there forever for the rest of his life, while his body's like sold off. There's like a heavy
Digimon does stuff like that, like
there's a heavy indication that his like organs were sold off,
yeah.
Digimon's
it's
hardcore.
fucking it's nuts. So yeah, in this album, you go and it will show every Digimon that had like a partner and then you go to Leomon, and Leomon was just it's based off the ones they turned into in the show, Leomon had no transformations because Leomon always dies.
Yeah, no, he dies in every
he
single
always
series.
Gets killed.
He
always gets killed on screen. Motherfucker gets murdered on screen. When Impmon turned into Beelzemon and capped him it just shot him, killed him on screen.
He's died in every season.
Oh yeah, the big epic lion man that roars and shoots fireballs from his fist. He just got fucking killed by the devil.
He sacrifices himself in like every situation. He's like a really good guy, I would want him to be my friend, only for him to like save my life and die in my place.
Yeah, that happens all the fun. And then, so in Tamers season 3, the third Digimon series, Leomon gets fucking murdered. His partner is this girl who had like a really active imagination. So Leomon gets killed at some point. Yep. She fucking loses her mind and gets taken over by
a giant parasite thing.
By the D virus.
Yeah.
And starts taking over the world and deleting the entire world.
And it's really dark. It's not like Pokemon where it's like, yo, they just got out and they're like, living their life or whatever. It's like towns are getting destroyed, buildings are collapsing, everything is like falling apart, right? And all you see is like this insane girl who's like orchestrating all of it, right? You really gotta watch the Digimon series on your own.
She keeps talking to herself through a puppet. It's so fucking like Yeah, Digimon's nuts. It's great. I love it.
Digimon's just not child-friendly Pokemon. Like how the episode with Pokemon with like the gun got banned or whatever in Japan. Digimon literally.
There's a Digimon that's literally his chest is a gun. They're like Sheriffmon, I think, right?
Yeah, Sheriffmon. But it's like it's good if you're drunk. It's good if you're not drunk. Just watch it. Start with Digimon Tamers. That's probably the best series to start with. Either that or the wait. Have you seen the new season, Starfield? The new season's actually really good.
No, I haven't.
From what I've seen and what I've read from like reviews of other people, it has a stronger start than Tamers.
Oh, I like that. I'll check it out.
It's actually really.
I check the chat.
I love him.
He's gun that wields two guns.
He's Texan. I love him.
Yeah. God, what's it? Digimon has a lot of scenes. And then, okay, so most of the time when a Digimon gets killed, they just get vaporized and they like turn into data and get vaporized.
And then they
but sometimes it's fucking graphic. In season 1,
season 2,
there's a villain called Metal Seadramon, right? He's one of my favorite Digimon, and he's pretty much a big dragon snake, water dragon made of metal with a laser cannon face. And he kills Waymon with a big laser blast, causing Waymon, who's a big whale, to fucking blow up and die, right? Yeah, that motherfucker is one of my favorites, because in the show he had like a surfer type voice. So at that point, Agumon warp digivolves into Metal Greymon, and then he like Metal Seadramon's like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna fucking kill you. Hits him does the big nose laser again. Metal Greymon turns into a twister, flies into his nose and shreds his entire body on screen.
Metal Greymon's really metal because he's literally a dinosaur with like metallic cyborg parts, which
dude, those are my two favorite things. That's why I love Godzilla and Mechagodzilla so much.
Dude,
I love dinosaurs and I love metal.
Okay, you haven't even seen War Greymon yet. War Greymon is absolutely sick. I'm gonna send.
Fuck.
Yeah,
the model kit for him is fucking cool.
Yeah,
it's actually super easy to put together. That's why I didn't buy it. So the model kit, what you can do is the wings on his back, you can put them together into a shield and put them on one arm, and then you can take the two claws and put them on the other arm. So he has a gigantic pile bunker looking thing.
Yeah, and like you can tell that the Digimon designs are just like leagues better than Pokemon designs. Anyway.
The Gallantmon Dukemon model kit I was working on, Comfy, like that's a Digimon. Yeah.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, and like honestly, Digimon just makes good games in general, though. And like it's kind of metal 99% of the time.
I don't know, man. I was looking at that game Snowfield was playing a while back ago. That game kind of looked like ass.
That was a PS1 game. There's only so much they can do.
Bro, there's many PS1 games that are rad.
Dude.
Okay, I mean, early Digimon games weren't always great.
Yeah.
Yeah, early ones weren't always great.
Current Digimon games are, though.
Digimon fighting games were definitely not great.
Dude.
But they were fun.
Remember the second movie? The second movie, our war game, absolutely slapped.
Which one was that? Is that the one where Ty's mom kept making weird food?
No, it was the one where a Digimon during the Y2K scandal took over like America's nukes and tried to nuke Japan.
They killed him with Omnimon, right?
Yeah.
That was a cool movie. That was a super cool movie.
Yeah, and like the cultural context too is amazing because like imagine this. You're like a kid in like 2000s, right? There's like the Y2K scandal. Everyone's afraid of like, all the computers breaking and like everyone like hacking the computers and like, getting to the nuke mainframe, right? And then Digimon comes out, right? With a movie literally talking about this virus Digimon taking over the interwebs, literally hijacking a nuke, shooting it right into the coast near where the main characters are. And then there's just like a giant fight scene, like cool transformations, and then at like the end, right, the main character just genocides all the viruses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rad.
Yeah. Digimon's pretty rad. I love
Digimon's pretty rad. They just don't have any fighting.
I have good opinion. I have positive opinions of Digimon in general.
Yeah, same.
Like I like Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, but Digimon's got something that's a little something else to it.
If the digital world fought the Pokemon world, the digital world would like nuke it. Or
who would win, 50 billion lions or one of every Pokemon?
Honestly, probably the Pokemon because it can control time and space. But then again,
that's a lot of lions. That's a lot of lions. You know how many 50 billion is? That's a lot. That's more lions than exist.
I mean,
that's a lot of lions,
the Digimon could just like pop into another dimension for like 50 years, and then the lions would just starve eventually.
No, they gotta fight.
Okay.
Yeah, they gotta fight. So I don't know. That's a lot of lions.
But who do you think would win, the Pokemon world or the Digimon world?
You gotta remember, Arceus is literally God. So
there's three God.
A lot of lions are not. It only takes a snap to kill.
You know the argument of like if Arceus being God, it doesn't work against Digimon because there's a literal God, there's the devil,
Digimon,
there's the seven sins demon lords,
it's literally Leomon.
There's also the Zeus pantheon. Yeah.
There's the Chinese pantheon. There's all sorts of mythical deities. Yeah.
And then there's like there's there's like White Tiger, a bunch of other things, and like mythological beings.
Digimon, like that episode of Tamers where Takato got super pissed off after Itmon killed Leomon. He caused Guiomon to dark digivolve and turn into shit. I forgot the name of it.
Peppermon.
Let me look it up.
Wait. I'm gonna send you guys something in the DM real quick. It's kind of sus, but like, Comfy. What would a Pokemon do against this? This is a panel from the show.
Really?
Yeah, this is a panel from the show. Wait. Let me post you the entire GIF. This is like Digimon is not child friendly. That's from the show.
No, that's just James from Team Rocky.
Or let me see.
Wait, yeah. Let me find where the Discord is again. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh wait. Yeah, check DM Snowfield. You remember that panel, right?
What was this? I don't remember this.
It was from one of the more recent series. I'm pretty sure.
I haven't seen it then.
Yeah. Ghost Game's the only recent series that's worth watching, to be perfectly honest with you. You guys might like Digimon Frontier though, because the main character literally goes, "Hey,
I've seen Frontier.
Frontier is interesting."
Is that the one where they turn into the Digimon?
Yeah, and where the main characters
actually really liked Frontier.
Okay, Frontier, right? So you know how like in Pokemon like the humans are super weak, right? Comfy? In Frontier, the main character Matt Damon, right, literally is so strong that he goes around fist fighting his Digimon to like gain its respect.
Frontier?
And, like,
I thought Frontier was with No, you're thinking is X-Rose or Zeros or whatever.
Is it? But like one of the series, right? The main character just goes around fist fighting all the Digimon. Like he literally goes like up against like a giant like 50-foot creature and just like punches it.
Yep. He'll fucking punch the shit out of them.
Honestly,
shit.
He scales up to like the strongest Pokemon, like at least,
I go Magidramon.
Yeah, and then yeah. But Frontiers was also kind of fun. Yeah, it's
Frontier
been a while.
was cool. Because they turned into the Digimon and the opening theme is fucking great.
Yeah. Wait. Snowfield, have you heard the try butterfly cover?
Yes.
Oh, that one's so good. So good. Yeah. Okay, back to fighting games. Okay.
Oh right, we were doing that.
Oh yeah, we were doing that. Yeah, one of the things I found really interesting about the VR medium is that it's very hard to make a fighting game because you can't really program animations, right? Because like people have like physical controllers, right? Like if you go through an animation, it's just gonna desync their mind, So for games in VR, you need to like add a bunch of mechanics to balance that out. For example, for Gura, right, there's like the weapon respawn time, right? So you can't hit, but you can still move, dodge, and like a parry and all that, right? In other VR fighting games such as Ironworks, which I would never suggest because one, there's a faction war going on between us and them. But on the other side, right, they force the players to go very slow and methodically to like place their shots better, and like also if you go too fast, it just doesn't work. So like in VR, it's a very limited medium in some aspects because you can't like make the character do like a pyro pinwheel or whatever, right? But you can have a lot more intuitive gameplay, right? Because if you put a kid into like into Swords of Gura, they're gonna know how to stab someone. Probably not very well, but they'll like intuitively know how to do everything, I think VR does have a lot of potential for reinventing the genre just because of like how intuitive like combat is, because like everyone's probably swung around a stick before in their life, right? Once we get like more polished and everything, I definitely do see it as being a very interesting like mechanism because like your stats or like your movement speed in game is influenced by how your footsies are IRL, because like you can dodge, you can distance and everything based off your actual physical characteristics, which I think is a really interesting thing, right? Because like it's just fun. Like I can definitely input a lot more foot movement and arm movements than I can in like a controller.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's just so much more flexibility. Yeah. Okay.
I gotta get going.
Okay. Let's find someone to raid real quick before we do that.
Sure.
Who should we raid?
Jin the Pale Rider just started.
How many people does he have?
He literally just started. It's one.
Okay. Jin. Okay. Yeah. Post his name in chat. I'm guessing he's probably not the Jin that's like that has the check mark next to their name. Jin. Oh, it's just that. Okay. Jin the Pale Rider. Here we go. Oh shoot! Is this the ninja dude?
No, he's not a ninja.
Oh,
No.
isn't he?
He's a warrior from the future.
Oh, that's right.
You just rate him. He'll say his line.
He has a super cool intro.
Okay.
He's 6. I don't know if I'll say it.
He blew my mind. Oh,
Yeah.
He also
Sorry.
just started. He might be on an intro screen. He blew my mind when I first rated him, and he said that. I was like, "That's an instant follow."
Sorry, I haven't gotten you guys like the code just yet for Gura. They're just like a week away from the next giant netcode update that they've been doing for like 7 months. So like, yeah, he like
Oh, take your time.
yeah,
We're
the
all good.
dude's
We
like
can wait.
waiting. Yeah, I had like the beta test like just yesterday and everything, and it's actually feeling really snappy. The problem with netcode, like for like every game, right, especially VR, is there's no like frame data, so they don't really have the ability to like do rollback and all that kind of stuff as easily.
Right.
Yeah, unless they get like haptic feedback that can move your arm back to a past location, it's not gonna work. Okay, ready
Right.
everyone? We're gonna raid.
Ready.
Okay, can our raid message just be die? No. What
No.
what should our raid message be?
I don't do a raid message.
Yeah,
Me
fair
neither.
enough.
I'm not the guy to ask.
Okay, yeah. There we go. Raid.
Cool.
Bonjour. J'aime appelle toy et toi. I don't speak French. Here we go. Well, good night, Snowfield. I hope you had fun, dude. It was actually a lot of
Alright,
fun, like
yep.
talking about like fighting
Oh,
games
yeah.
and everything with you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If only you guys came a bit sooner, but oh well.
Yeah. All right. I gotta get out. Peace out. See y'all later.
Good night, man.